Welcome everyone to the stream. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. We are standing by and waiting for our favorite president to come out and speak and address the Knesset in Israel. And I came on a little early so that we could catch all of that live. They said it was going to be at 4 a.m. I've been up all night because I wanted to catch this speech in its entirety before I went on the air, but I wanted to do my show prep first, and they said it was going to be at 4 a.m. So I've been up since 12:30 so I could get all my show prep done so I could catch the speech at 4 a.m. And then I figured he'll be done by 5:30, and then I can do whatever else I got to do after that. But here we are. It's almost 5:30, and it hasn't started yet. But when it starts, it'll pop right up here, and I'm going to carry it live. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. If you're new to the program, this is where MAGA comes to talk. And, this is really amazing. Everything that President Trump has done in this second term is just beyond fantastical, isn't it? I mean, it's just, we have never had a president even close to President Trump so far as his success. And I know liberals are going to tell you, oh, well, Ronald Reagan. I love how liberals all of a sudden want to go to Ronald Reagan like they love Ronald Reagan. I remember when they were hating on Ronald Reagan. And I'm starting the other stream. It'll come up in any minute. When this pops up on X, you know that it's going to happen soon. I'm just starting the other stream. All right. Now, if you're new, welcome. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Aren't you guys? Isn't it just amazing having such a great president? Isn't it? It's just freaking amazing. Every other president we've had pretty much is a jerk. They are, aren't they? I mean, none of them really do the right thing for the people. They just, they're trying to elevate themselves. That's it. That's what they do. And, with President Trump, it's just not that way, is it? Nope. It's just not that way. Hold on a second here. I just moved my camera on me. Okay, got to move it just a hair. One more here. Okay. There we go. Okay. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We are waiting for the president to speak in Israel, and he'll be speaking any minute. I'll tell you, it is. We're just lucky to have him back. Blessed, really. I mean, could you imagine? All these hostages that were just released and saved. If Kamala Harris was the president, if she had won, or Joe Biden was president, that wouldn't have happened. Those hostages would still be in captivity. More would be dead. President Trump has saved more lives than you can count. You think about it. I mean, how many lives has President Trump saved in all these wars that he's ended? On top of the wars he's ended, he, of course, overturned Roe v. Wade, which saved how many lives? You could not put a number on how many lives President Trump has saved. He saved so many. Hold on, I gotta grab my iPhone. I'll be right back. Thought I had my phone. I do have my phone in my back pocket. All right. Now, if you're watching on the live stream with the green behind me, if you want to hear the president and all the audio and everything, you can go to my main stream, which is linked in the description. All right. If you go to the description of the episode, if you're watching with the green behind me, it'll take you directly to my main stream. You know, these god-awful wars that President Trump is ending, you know, he says all the time that they wouldn't have happened if he was president. And that's true. This war would never have happened. They wouldn't have dared do it. Ukraine and Russia, that wouldn't have happened. You know, and, you know, so what that he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize? Who cares about that? You know, we need the Europeans to tell us our president is great. I don't think so. We know he's great. We don't need the Europeans to tell us that. Yeah. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, we're just waiting for the president. I came on early because he's going to be out at any moment. Yeah. And when they pull it up, when they pull this up, it's a countdown. But you know, when he gets to these things, he's got to take pictures with everybody, talk with everybody. But yeah, I've gotten very little sleep. I've been up all night long. So when the show's over today, oh boy, I'm going to be pretty wiped. I really, truly am. But you look at the second term of President Trump, it has been nothing short of perfection, right? Just complete perfection. Although, did you see this latest from Marjorie Taylor Greene? While we're waiting, let me pull it up, because I'll monitor this, and then when the president, let me pull this up so I can monitor it on my phone. Okay. I'll keep monitoring. Believe me, I'm going to go right to the president when he comes on. You're not going to miss anything. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is getting really, really weird. Listen to this. This is a couple clips. She did a podcast interview. Listen to this.
And I'm so disgusted with Washington, D.C. I hate politics. The two-party system is extremely broken. It is failing all of us. And when I look at, you know, here goes another $100 billion to Ukraine or $30 billion to Israel, but yet nobody can afford health insurance premiums. And then I'm getting yelled at by Republican colleagues for saying that out loud. I'm like, this is insane.
Okay. And she goes, don't worry, I'm monitoring. When the president comes on, I will cut away on a dime. Don't you worry. And then there was another clip of her. Let me pull it up. I was going to get to this later in the show, maybe, because there's so much going on. But while we're waiting, okay. Let me pull all this up. Okay. Here's a couple more clips of her. Listen, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene over the weekend. She did this podcast interview.
And I'm talking to major manufacturing companies they're saying we support the president, we support what he's trying, his long-term goal, but we're having problems with these tariffs. And now we're having problems. We can't get supplies from this country, and we can't get supplies from this country. And there's problems. But
she's attacking Trump's policies. Is she? Give me a yes or no. Do you still consider her MAGA?
But we're having problems with these tariffs. And now we're having problems. We can't get supplies from this country, and we can't get supplies from this country. And there's problems. But have regular people's bank accounts been affected? Has the stress come off? No, that has not happened yet, and that needs to be the major focus. It shouldn't be about helping your crypto donors or your AI donors.
See there? She's attacking Trump. She's saying he's in with the crypto and AI donors. He's doing their biddings. Isn't that what she's saying here? Am I hearing this wrong?
Major focus. It shouldn't be about helping your crypto donors or your AI donors or welcoming in these people that hated you and spent money to try to beat you, but all of a sudden are excited to come out to the new Rose Garden patio.
Yes.
That shouldn't be the focus. The focus should be the people that showed up at the rallies, stood there for freaking 18 hours trying to get in the rain, in the cold, in the 100-degree heat. For those people, those are the ones that I care about. Those are the ones that voted for not only the president, but every single Republican, gave us power. I don't think those people are being served.
Wow. And then that's not, I got more of her. I've got one more of her. Don't worry, I am monitoring. When the president goes live, I will stop on a dime and go right to him. And now listen to this one. This is from the same interview. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene.
As a conservative and as a business owner in the construction industry and as a realist, I can say we have to do something about labor, and that needs to be a smarter plan than just rounding up every single person and deporting them just like that.
Right.
So, and I'm going to get pushback on that, but it's,
Yeah.
Is she saying to stop the deport? Did I hear that right? Again, this is my first coffee, and I've been up all night waiting for this Trump speech at the Knesset. Did she just come out against the deportations? Let me rewind it again. Hold on. I'll play the whole thing. Let me rewind it from the beginning.
as a conservative and as a business owner in the construction industry and as a realist, I can say we have to do something about labor, and that needs to be a smarter plan than just rounding up every single person and deporting them just like that.
Right.
So, and I'm going to get pushback on that, but it's,
Yeah.
I'm just living in reality from here on out.
Yeah.
And if anybody's mad at me for saying the truth, then I'm sorry.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, ladies and gentlemen, our next president. Sorry.
Oh, for who? I mean, this is I don't know. I'm not happy about that at all. When I saw that, I was like, "Are you kidding me, Marjorie Taylor Greene?" Okay, so we're standing by for the president, and even if this continues, even when the radio show starts, I'll continue to carry the president's speech on the radio because I figure that's what people will want to hear. So if I don't play it, they'll just go to some place where they can find it, right, on the radio. So if we go live on the radio and the president is still speaking, I'll go to it. But when I'll have to still take commercials on the radio, but I won't take them here. I'll continue here. But that's not for over 30 minutes from now. So who knows how long he'll speak. He could speak for half an hour, or 2 hours. What do you think I should do? If the president speaks for 2 hours, just say, should I carry the entire speech? I'm going to carry it right here. But if he speaks that long, should I carry the entire speech on the radio too? I mean, I think people would want to hear Trump speaking at the Knesset. And if I don't do it, they'll just go to some place that will, right? So what would you do? For the radio, I'm not talking about you guys. On the radio, do you think I should continue to carry it, even if he speaks for 2 hours? My instinct is yes. My instinct's yes. But I'll still have to. On the radio, I would have to cut out for commercial breaks. But when I go to commercial on the radio, I won't stop here. I'll keep it going. Okay, so you won't miss anything. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, got to carry it. Got to carry it. Absolutely. I'm sitting down, which I never do. I haven't sat down on the air in years, and I'm going to start sitting down more when I'm on the air. I do so much. You know, my studio here at home is a standing desk. This is where I podcast from. It's where I do my audio production from. I do have a little TV studio set up over here when I do TV interviews. But I'm going to start sitting more. I'm just on my feet so much. I realize with all the between the radio show and the podcast and everything I'm doing, I'm like, you know how many hours I'm live streaming, plus the audio production and video production I do. I am on my feet like I'm a cashier at Walmart, and I'm like, my legs and feet are starting to hurt. So I'm like, forget about that. I'm gonna have to start sitting down, which goes against the grain for me on the air. It's a little uncomfortable because I'm so used to standing when I'm on the air. It seems bizarre, I know, but it is. On the podcast over the weekend, with the one with Mom Donnie in the thumbnail, I was sitting down. It's no big deal for you guys, but I have a routine. I'm kind of like Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man. And if I don't get Judge Wapner at 3, I'm all messed up. So sitting down like throws me off a little bit. Yeah, welcome everyone. We're just waiting for the president to come out. Now, those of you that are watching if you want to call in while we're waiting, you're welcome to. If you're watching on the live stream with the green behind me, if you go to my main stream, you'll be able to see and hear all the audio. And the link to my main stream is in the description of that video. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Welcome to the new subscribers. And absolutely, I'm monitoring, don't you worry. Oh, and I want to welcome a new Patreon supporter who I'm going to add to the list, a new top Patreon supporter that I'm going to add to the list of top Patreon supporters. Hold on, I haven't added them to the list yet, but I will. Our latest top Patreon supporter, Doris, will be added to the list of top Patreon supporters. So if you'd like to support my content, become a Patreon supporter. And if you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions to all of my podcast episodes and access to a lot of things that I post nowhere else, that my wife and I both post to Patreon, only for Patreon supporters. And by the way, you got to be a paid Patreon supporter. I don't know why. They offer a free Patreon supporter, but if you're a free supporter, you don't get access to any of the material. You got to be a paid Patreon supporter. But I want to welcome Doris as our latest top Patreon supporter. Patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show, and there's a link in the description. All right, I'm still monitoring. As soon as the president comes out, we'll cut right to it. You know, can you imagine when he's backstage, all the things that are going on, all the people he's got to talk to, all the hands he's got to shake, everyone wants a picture. But they reported that this speech was supposed to be at 4 a.m. Eastern Time. So I got up today. I set my alarm for 12:30 a.m. because I figured, well, I got to do my show prep. And because I wanted to catch the speech in its entirety. And when they said 4, I just assumed it would be on time because things are so tight for President Trump, because he's going to be back tomorrow for that Charlie Kirk Presidential Medal of Freedom ceremony. So I said, I want to catch that entire speech in its entirety. So I got up at 12:30 so I could get all my show. You got to always prepare, right? So I got up, did all my show prep. And I got up extra early because, not just for the show prep, but I figured, I got to get up so early for this speech. I'm going to be wiped after the show, and I have a bunch of audio production to do. So I better get up in time to do that audio production work and my show prep before the speech. And, we're more than 90 minutes behind the scheduled time, so I could have gotten up at my normal time. But, whatever. Mary, $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Mary. Greatly appreciated. The president thanks you too. $20 super chat from Mary. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. So after the show today, I'm probably going to conk out. I met Steve yesterday afternoon at Wings Plus, and we recorded some commercials. And I had to get that production done. So it's been I can't believe I've been up over 5 hours. I woke up at midnight. I laid in bed for half an hour till my alarm went off. So it's going to be a show. But I'm going to carry the entire Trump address to the Knesset. So remember, when the radio, obviously this is going to go into the radio show. So I'm going to carry it on the radio, but I'm still going to have to take the scheduled breaks on the radio. But I won't stop it. I'll just cut to break on the radio, and then I'll continue it here on YouTube, so you're not going to miss anything. I mean, I think it would be ridiculous for me with this historic speech going on live to ignore it and try to do a regular show, right? So I don't know if I've done that on the radio too many times. I'm not sure if I've done that on the radio where I've carried a speech live in its entirety. I've carried news events, but you usually don't have speeches at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. They don't normally interfere with the show. So it's an unusual thing. It's only because he's in it. How many hours is Israel ahead? Are they ahead 5 hours or 7? I want to say 5 hours. No, I think they're 7 hours ahead, aren't they? How many hours ahead is Israel? Alexa, what time is it in Jerusalem? Yeah, it's 12:35. Yeah. 12:35 in Jerusalem. So 7 hours. London's 5. Yeah, so I've been up all night, and this is my first coffee. So that's one of the main reasons I'm sitting in a chair. But we are monitoring. As soon as the president comes on, we will cut away. This should be an amazing speech. And, you know, the left in the media are already aggravated at Trump because he said the war's over. The war's not over. It's just a ceasefire. My goodness. They just can't accept that the war's over, right? They just don't want to accept it because they're sick. That's why, you know. They just don't want to accept it. Oh, man. But, you know, I was talking at the beginning of the stream. How many lives has President Trump saved in his 2 presidencies? I mean, if you include the overturning of Roe v. Wade. I'm getting text messages. People text me at crazy times because they know I'm up all the time. We'll take a call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Jason. I'm calling from Shreveport.
Yep. What's up?
So I just got a question for you, man. So, you know, I'm definitely on the conservative side. And my question is, there's this video of this lady, I'm not going to say her name, but I think that she is breaking every law in the book because she's outside of the, ICE detention center in Chicago. She's making all these videos. She's harassing the police. And I guess, in ICE or whatever, and I guess me, not only being a conservative, being a Christian, it really makes me mad, you know.
Whatever. Okay. I mean, you know what? Why do you begin your comments with "you're a conservative"? Why do you have to tell us that first? Why? And then you have to say it again. I mean, why do you? I'm a conservative and this thing. Why do you do that?
I feel like it's a sense of pride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's your favorite thing about Trump?
Just that he's an honest guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what needs to be done.
What's your favorite policy of his?
The immigration policy.
Which is what? Well, what's your favorite part of it?
Well, that people that don't belong here should be deported unless they're legally here.
What?
I said people that can legally be here should be here, but if they're not legal, then they should be deported.
Yes, that's right. That's right. All right, take care. All right, take care, Shreveport. Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, it's early in the morning. What are you going to do? You look at all the lives. I mean, with Roe v. Wade alone, right? I mean, think about how many people over the course of forever are going to be born and live lives because President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade. I mean, how could you even put a number on that? Throughout the rest of humanity's history, future history, people will be born and have children. And I mean, that's depending on if the planet Earth is here long enough, that could be billions of people right there that President Trump saved. Really, right? I mean, over the course of the next, let's just say 10,000 years, how many people will have been born and lived a life because President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade? Just that alone, right? It's got to be like billions of people over the course, right? Over 10,000 years, 5,000 years, hundreds of millions, billions. Because those are, that will continue forever. He saved. How many abortions don't happen each and every year now because of President Trump overturning Roe v. Wade? So if you go over throughout the rest of the time humans are going to be in the universe, it's billions. Billions and billions of people will have life and live just because President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade. And that's not talking about the other things, right? So the wars, I'm going to have to write these down. I pulled up the list. These are if you're just tuning in, we're waiting for the president to come on. So here's the list of the wars that the president has ended. The Israeli-Iranian war. This one. The Israeli-Gaza war. The Armenian war. The Congo, Rwanda war. India and Pakistan. Cambodia and Thailand. Right? And there's been a few others that, I can't, there's one more. What's the one I left off? But with these wars he's ended, it's the same thing. Literally, billions of people will be born and live full lives because of President Trump that never would have. The wars he's ended, overturning Roe v. Wade. I mean, that's really just amazing. And, he was talking about going to heaven and not going to heaven on Air Force One on the way to Israel. Has there ever been an individual mortal man who has saved as many lives as Donald Trump? Think about that. Is there any man who has ever lived that has saved as many or more lives than President Trump has? Who? I don't think so. I don't think so. And he's not even done. Isn't that something? I mean, every time, just in this war alone, tens of thousands of Palestinians died in Gaza. Tens of thousands, 60-some thousand. So how many will not be killed in this war because of it? I mean, it's just amazing. And you go through time because they have kids, and then their kids have kids. That's how you do the counting. So it's billions. So that's why I just don't get how anyone could take issue with anything President Trump does. He's saving lives every single day. Tunisia, Tunisia's one of them? Okay, I left that off. It's really an amazing thing, and you all should be proud that you voted for him. And those of you that don't support Trump, shame on you. Shame on you. Now, if we get to 6 when the radio show starts, I'll have to start the show and I'll monitor when he comes on. But the White House has the feed on standby. That means they're expecting him any minute. So But we're not going to be on the radio for about 18, 19 minutes. But we're definitely going to be carrying this. You never know how long Trump's going to speak. He could speak for 30 minutes, an hour, or 2.5 hours. What would be your guess? What's everyone's guess? How long will Trump's speech be at the Knesset? How long? What do you guys say? 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 2 hours, 2.5 hours? Put your guesses in the chat. How long do you think? Bruce says 1.5 hours. Ursula says an hour. Now, if you, Heidi says 45 minutes. If you're watching on the live stream with the green behind me, if you go to my main stream, you'll be able to see and hear the speech and everything else. And the link is in the description. Someone says 20 minutes, 90 minutes, 45 minutes. Yeah, well, we'll see. We're going to find out. I mean, hold on. I got to fix my chair. Got to be careful with a chair on wheels. And this is a standing desk, so the chair's high, so I don't want to fall in front of you guys. Although maybe I do. If the chair on the wheels went out from underneath me, maybe I'd go viral. No, I think, and you guys agree, right? For me to try to do a regular show when President Trump is giving this historic speech at the Knesset and not carry it on the radio would be stupid. Would be stupid, right? I got to carry it. 73 minutes. Try to keep it even. 49 and a half. No, let's try to keep it to even numbers. I think an hour's a solid guess, but you never know with Trump. And it depends on how much applause he gets. But you know, President Trump, when he knows how to read a room. So if he gets a sense from seeing the people that they're ready for it to end, he'll wrap it up. He'll wrap it up. I've seen him do it many times. You know, have any of you, I know a lot of you have been to Trump rallies. Have you ever seen these fake news reporters at the Trump rallies trying to disrupt him? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Landon, man. I'm from Toronto, Canada.
Oh, hey, what's up, Canada?
What's up, Canada? I just came across your feed here. I wasn't sure exactly. I saw your hat and everything.
Yes.
And I am a Trump supporter.
Well, good for you.
I'm not sure if you're not, but regardless of what it is, I was thinking about 2028. I've spoken to people. I'm just like, I know constitutionally in the United States you can't do that, right?
Constitution can be changed.
You can't do three terms.
You can. You know, the Constitution has been amended 27 times, and we've only had term limits since the 1950s. So throughout most of our country's history, we did not have term limits. In fact, in 1880, Ulysses S. Grant, he was president for 8 years, right? 4 years after he was out of office, he came back and ran again. Ulysses S. Grant in 1880 for a third term. So, you know, it's happened before. It could happen again. Yeah.
Yeah, like up in Canada here, you actually can run 12 years.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a different system. Yeah, different system.
Yeah. I know with the whole, it's actually completely different.
Yeah.
With the,
you know, I'm not, you know, there's a lot of people from Canada that watch me online. We're just waiting for the president now. This is not what I would normally be doing, but I'm just waiting for the president. You know, my mother-in-law is an immigrant to the United States from Canada, and she was just in Canada.
Yeah.
She just came back from Canada last week. She's a U.S. citizen now, and, you know, so my wife has family in Canada, so I'm not anti-Canada, although you guys have been screwing us over for a long time and ripping us off and sucking off of the wealth of America.
Listen, man, like as a Canadian, like I'm proud to be Canadian, but I understand, we are the little brother. So
When you
it is what
that's
it
an
is.
interesting
I mean,
thing. I'm curious. How old are you?
I'm 41.
Okay, so you're old enough to have a conversation with. You're not a kid. So when you say
Absolutely,
when you like, if I'm a proud American, obviously, and I could list some reasons what makes me proud to be an American. But when you say you're proud to be a Canadian, everyone's proud of their country. Like, what are the foundational principles of Canada that you're like, I'm proud to be a Canadian because in Canada this. What are you proud of?
Okay, I will be able to list a few things that I am proud. I'm proud of my forefathers. I know we are the Commonwealth, but we actually, I'm in Ontario, so like we actually fought against the French and got our own thing. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of that. I'm actually very proud of having a national sport like hockey. I know that sounds a bit crazy,
but that's a stretch. Like in America, we're proud of our freedoms and things. Hockey.
Let me say some two more. Let me say some two more things.
What about air hockey?
I'm very proud of the way we fought in World War I and World War II.
Yeah.
I know that you guys bailed us out in World War II, but I think Canadians. I was part of a fraternity, and a lot of our lineage comes from. We lost like 95% of our brothers at U of T to the First World War.
Yeah, First World War wiped out England and wiped out Canada. Yeah, it did. Wiped them out.
We fought proudly, and there's a lot of things like there's a thing called.
No, I'm not trying to hate on Canada. I'm not trying to hate on Canada. I'm just asking. I'm not giving you a hard time.
There are things that I am proud of. You know what I mean? There's not the Constitution I can uphold, and there's not the bombs bursting.
You don't have freedom of speech. You don't have freedom of speech like we have here.
No, well, we used to.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
It died. I know. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I'm leaning. Like I'm right. Like well, I don't like the word right, but like I look at you and I'm watching I just came across your stream. It's like 2028 would be kind of dope if Trump was still there.
It'd be awesome. Amazing, it will be awesome. I gotta tell you, what my favorite television show is Corner Gas.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
I watch my wife and I every night when I go to bed. I go to bed to Corner Gas. I love that show. I've seen every episode like forever times. It's on YouTube for free. Corner Gas. It's all every episode.
Yeah, Corner Gas is amazing. I mean, Kids in the Hall was really great.
Kids in the Hall. I'm not a fan of Kids in the Hall, but there's some But I do.
Bit out there.
In fact, I just found Corner Gas like a few months ago, and I'm like, this better. It's better than Seinfeld. And that's saying a lot. And I was planning on, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go and visit that town where they have the gas. And then I saw they tore it down.
I've been there.
I was when I found out they tore down the Corner gas station and the Ruby, I'm like, oh man, I would have gone to that town just to do that. I'm a big fan of that show. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's an amazing show. I mean, like also, have you ever checked out, oh my God, my brain just went blank. Oh my God! There's a one on. Oh, sorry, it'll come to me. You keep talking, it'll come to me.
No, it's a good show. I like my favorite episode. There's a lot of good episodes of Corner Gas, but my favorite episode is the hobo episode about the dog. That dog show, Canada's Lassie.
Yes. Like that's based on the Littlest Hobo.
The Littlest Hobo. Yes, correct. The Littlest Hobo episode.
Yeah.
You see, so I do know my Corner Gas. Trailer Park Boys. I'm no fan of Trailer Park Boys.
Hobo is based off of like this little tiny show on when CBC wasn't a propaganda station.
Exactly. Well, listen, welcome. I gotta run. I gotta run, but I want to tell you, this is
my call.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe. This is not what I would normally do. I usually am.
I will.
Yeah. Okay. Take care. Yeah. If somebody comes along, I don't just usually sit here and talk about TV shows, but to try to get when the radio show starts, if the president hasn't come on, I'll start a show. But he was supposed to be on almost 2 hours ago. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Thomas Barnes. I'm calling from Illinois.
Okay, what's up, Illinois?
What's up with you, man? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, but the president's coming on, so I'm going to cut to the president. You can hang in there. I'll talk to you later. All right? The
President is trash.
president of the United States? I don't think so. The greatest president ever.
Speaker of the Knesset.
Look at this. They love President Trump. Let's see when he comes in. There he is. There's the boss. Well, this is definitely going to cut into the radio show. Those of you with the green behind me, if you see the green behind me, if you go to my main stream, you can see and hear all the audio and video. The link is in the description. If you're on hold, hang in there. Yeah, they love him. Look at that. They're standing ovation. Okay, hold on. I got to turn down the music. I'll pot it back up after the music. I do have to do an intro at the top of the radio show. Look at that. It's like a mini Trump rally. I will have to do an intro when the radio show starts.
Miriam Edelson there on the balcony.
I might get in trouble carrying that on the radio. I mean, what I mean by trouble is that I didn't get clearance to change the format for me talking to carry the speech, but I think people will want to hear the president more than me on the radio. There he is. Greatest president ever right there.
נא לשבת.
Please sit down.
Oh, good. We got the translator. Good.
Knesset members, today is Monday, 13th of October 2025, and I'm intending to open the special session of the Knesset in honor of the President of the United States, Mr. Donald J. Trump.
That's right. Greatest president ever.
Dear Knesset members, I would like to remind you that this is a special session, and therefore there will be no disturbances, and whoever will disturb the session will be expelled from the session.
Oh.
And there will be no warning, and it is allowed to applaud in this session the Honorable Mr. Yitzhak Herzog and his wife Michal, the Honorary the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his spouse Sarah,
I think the translator just sneezed. Did you hear that? We'll be live on the radio in about 3 to 4 minutes. If you're on hold, hang in there.
the head of the opposition, Mr. Lapid and his wife Lihi, ministers and Knesset members,
They clap in a rhythm in the Knesset.
Special recognition to Minister Ron Dermer, who led the negotiation team on behalf of Israel. Thank you, Ron. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Oh, Marco Rubio, Florida's own. We got about 4 minutes till we're on the radio. I'll do a quick intro on the radio, then we'll cut to
Secretary of
it.
War Pete Hegseth.
Oh, man.
Secretary of War, I like it. I love it.
Oh, the Israeli guy said, Secretary of War, I like it. I love it. Did you hear that?
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane.
Raising Cain.
Two key players. President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, who is here with his partner, Lauren.
No, they really like him. Okay, now, we're going to be on the radio in about 3 minutes, so I'm going to have to do an intro on the radio. And I still have to take radio commercial breaks, so you'll hear me come in saying, okay, we're going to take a break. But I'm not going to take the break here, okay? There'll only be radio breaks, so here on YouTube, I'll continue with the speech uninterrupted, all right?
And Jared Kushner, who is here with his wife, Ivanka.
That's right, Ivanka Trump.
And thank you guys for everything that you have done to bring about this day. Ambassador of the United States to Israel, my dear friend and my absolute favorite rock star, Mike Huckabee.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Huckabee. We had 2 minutes till we're going to be on the radio.
Do we have Janet? I don't see Janet.
Mike Huckabee.
Okay. שגריר ישראל בארצות הברית, יחיאל לייטר. תודה. שגרירים וראשי משלחות זרות.
Ambassadors and the mayor of
We got about 90
Jerusalem,
seconds till we're live
Mr.
on the
Leon,
radio.
And the first team of the government, the heads of the states, and those who are here, the Eyal Zamir, the chief of staff.
1 minute. So I'm going to have to, I'll do an intro, and then I'm going to cut right back to the speech. 1 minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take some calls after this speech.
The head of the police, Daniel Levy.
Now remember, if you're watching on the live stream with the green
The
behind me, if you
head
go to
of
my
the prisons,
main stream, you can see and hear everything.
Mr. Jacobi.
The link's in the description.
He's one of those who is in
30 seconds.
Mr. Eyal Kaspi, the head of the fire, the head of the Mossad, Mr. David Barnea.
Ooh, head of Mossad. Wow. All right, got about 20 seconds. Stand by. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. It is Monday, October 13th, 2025. The president is about to speak at the Knesset in Israel, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry that in its entirety. So this is a historic speech. The president is sitting in the Knesset. He's got the cabinet with him. Of course, Netanyahu's there. The Joint Chiefs, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs is there, and a whole bunch of people. And they're doing some introductions right now. And the welcoming that President Trump has gotten in the Knesset is amazing. So we're going to carry the whole speech because it's history, it's historic, and you think, I was talking before the radio show started. I was talking about how many lives has President Trump saved? He's ended 8 wars. He's overturned Roe v. Wade. Billions of people will live their lives because President Trump is president. Think about that. Billions of people will have lives because of it. But we're going to carry the entire speech of the president in the Knesset because I figure that's what you guys would rather hear this morning is our favorite president. And they're going through some introductions. I'll cut in there and see what's going on. And if you're on hold, stand by. We will take calls as well. But I think it'd be kind of ridiculous for me to try to do a regular show like we would normally do with our favorite president giving this historic speech. So I just decided I'm going to carry the Trump speech. And this may be, if it's not the first time, this is one of maybe just 2 times. Because I do not remember carrying a live speech on the show in the morning before. Now, a lot of that has to do with we're here so early. So let's cut to it. We'll go to the Knesset.
President Donald J. Trump.
A lot of applause. That's the translator. President's getting up. I hope he speaks first. If they have a bunch of speakers coming out, we'll start a regular show until the president speaks. But I'm dying to hear what he has to say. They've released all the hostages this morning, the living hostages. They should all be alive, right? They should never have been hostages. But there were 20 of them that are still alive, and they have returned them. And the bodies of the ones they killed, they're coming later today. I heard one person say from Israel.
Mr. President, I would like to thank you that you granted the Knesset the honor that it is the first parliament that you are visiting in your present term. In the Jewish tradition, we are used to bless you, the one who gives us the honor. Thank you very much, Mr. President, President Trump. Honorary President, 2,000 years ago, we were exiled from our homeland, but in all the diaspora that we lived by, we never forgot Jerusalem, the beating heart of the Jewish people, since it's for which we prayed for year after year. And 7 years ago, it was you, President Trump, that in the name of the United States, you recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Jerusalem. You executed a promise that many other presidents promised. You transferred the embassy to Jerusalem. Thank you very much, President Trump. Thank you very much, President Trump.
Remember, George W. Bush promised that. If you're just tuning in, this is the president's about to speak at the Knesset in Israel. So we're going to be carrying it live here on the program. This is awesome.
In the dawn of its establishment, Israel was forced to fight, but it always extended its hand to peace. 7 years ago, you led the Abraham Accords, and I had the privilege to serve in this government that signed it, and it was very meaningful for me because 2.5 years ago, I was the first head of the Knesset that was invited to speak in a parliament of Arab country, and it was in the country of Morocco. where my parents came from. You made its relationship closer in accord that it's peace for peace. Thank you very much, President Trump. Many years before your first term, already in 2011, you identified the danger of nuclear Iran.
Our nation's national security interests. We can't allow Iran to go nuclear. איום על ארצות הברית משמעו איום על העולם החופשי כולו. העקבית ששמה את
Your continued that you put America first, but not alone, but not America alone. Do you brought with you to the White House in your 2 terms 4 months ago, after Prime Minister started Rising Lion, you started the Midnight Hammer, which was a very brave action, that there was nothing like it until you arrived at the White House.
President Trump said that's
thus,
true.
Mr. President, you prevented a nuclear holocaust that Iran wanted to bring about to the world. A country in its parliament, its elected officials cry death to America and death to Israel. And today we can say to the Ayatollahs, rule in Iran will not have nuclear power. Thank you, President Trump.
If you're just tuning in, we're carrying President Trump's speech at the Knesset. This is the intro. We're going to take a break in a minute, but we're going to carry the entire speech of the president at the Knesset.
Mr. President, today the Jewish people are ending the holiday of Sukkot, and tomorrow it will be Simchat Torah. And 2 years ago in Simchat Torah, it was the most difficult day for the State of Israel since its establishment, and for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. Many times I came with many visitors to the area of the slaughter, and I saw the horrors. And few weeks after the 7th of October, I accompanied Jared and Ivanka who came to those difficult areas. We saw what we were in Kfar Aza, and we saw what we hope that we will never see again: horrible sights of pogroms, children, men and women, the elderly. They are no longer there.
Okay, now this is the introduction of President Trump's speech at the Knesset. We're carrying it live, and you're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take a quick break and be back. Now, you guys online, we're going to continue to carry this. Okay, I'm not taking the. We're only taking the breaks on the radio right now.
Of our brothers in prison has been, when all the nation of Israel has been in pain of the families of the abducted until this morning. For 2 years, in the gallery where the guests are sitting, we had photos of the hostages. But this morning, towards this historical day, we were able to remove the photos, and I will do something spontaneous, and I will remove the pin of that I received from Tzvika Moore. I am removing it because a minute ago I spoke to Tzvika Moore's brother, and they are celebrating this unification. Thank you so much, President Trump. Thank you so much, President Trump.
Schumer and Jeffries must be sick.
Other American president, but as a giant of Jewish history, one for whom we must look back 2.5 millennia into the mists of time to find a parallel, Cyrus the Great. You, President Donald J. Trump, are a colossus who will be enshrined in the pantheon of history. Thousands of years from now, Mr. President, the Jewish people will remember you. We are a nation that remembers. Far from being a local struggle,
That's amazing.
what we are witnessing
Hear that?
is a
2,000
global
years,
struggle,
he'll be remembered.
a global battle between the forces of extremism, radicalism, and fundamentalism, and those of freedom, liberty, and democracy. What the world needs now is not appeasers who feed the crocodile in the hope that they will be eaten last,
I like
like
that.
the kind we have seen recently at the UN General Assembly. And by the way, President Trump, your team has checked the teleprompter. It is working beautifully.
He's at the UN.
What the world needs, what the world
I
needs
love it.
now are more leaders who are brave, resolute, strong,
That was
and
great.
bold. The world needs
Awesome.
more Trumps.
That's right. The world needs more Trumps. Hell yeah. We'll be back on the radio in 1 minute.
Mr. President,
quick
with your
intro.
permission, I would like to take this moment to address Prime Minister Netanyahu. ראש הממשלה, תודה, ראש הממשלה עמד...
Mr. Prime Minister, the last few years, you faced great pressures. Steve Witkoff, the special envoy that fought along with you to return the hostages, said about you, the most difficult work.
All right, we're going to be back in 20 seconds, so I got to do a quick intro because we're on a radio station break. And I'll have to break at the bottom of the hour, too, on the radio, but I'll stay here 10 seconds. Then we'll go right back to it. Stand by, guys. I'm going to carry the entire speech of the president. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. The president is being introduced at the Knesset. They're praising Netanyahu right now. So we're going to carry the speech of the president. That's what you've been listening to. I'm going to go right back to it. They're about to introduce the president in just a moment. They're applauding Netanyahu right now.
Also, my president Trump believes that the Prime Minister Netanyahu made hard decisions, and there were people who would have been less brave who wouldn't have made these decisions. We are here today because the Hamas did not have an alternative. So says Witkoff. The pressure was great, and therefore we progressed immensely, and this is what brought about this agreement. This is what the envoy Witkoff has stated. Mr. Prime Minister, yesterday, on his way to Israel, the President Trump, that you are the right person at the right time, and I'm proud to say here, in front of the whole world, that thanks to you, we achieved the great things that we have achieved. Thank you so much, Mr. Prime Minister.
I've lost track of how many standing ovations President Trump has gotten. But they're giving Netanyahu a standing O right now. I like this guy, but he's a man of a few thousand words. I want Trump, but he's saying a lot of good things.
This day, today, and we will thank from the heart, depths of our heart, to the brave soldiers of the IDF, of the Israeli Defense Forces.
We're carrying this is the introduction to President Trump's speech at the Knesset in Israel. And I wasn't going to play the introduction, but he's saying so many great things praising the president.
We will thank to the IDF brave soldiers who fought like lions and endangered their lives in order to protect the state of Israel. Many of them sacrificed their lives for the country that bows its head. Their blood was not, did not die in vain, because with their heroism they brought this state, and their names will be inscribed forever in the hearts of the nation. President.
There was not a single person on this planet who did more than you to advance peace. No one even came close.
That's right.
Your election to the presidency marked a turning point, not only for the United States, but for the entire world.
No doubt.
Through your strength of character and unwavering resolve, you brought an end to bloody conflicts in no fewer than 8 regions across the globe. In less than 9 months, you became one of the most consequential presidents in history. You saved countless lives that would have been lost without your leadership. And as our sages teach, whoever saves one life, it is as though he has saved an entire world. You have proven that true peace is achieved through strength, and that only those who are prepared to use force in the present can prevent the need to use it in the future. Mr. President, you, more than any other individual, are deserving of the highest recognition for your efforts in promoting peace. Therefore, I hereby announce that together with our good friend, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, we will rally speakers and presidents of parliaments from around the world to submit your candidacy for the Nobel Prize, Peace Prize, next year. There is no one more deserving than you, President Trump.
That's right. Another standing ovation for President Trump. This is amazing. If you're just tuning in, this is the introduction to the president speaking at the Knesset in Israel. And like I said, I wasn't going to carry the introduction, but the guy's saying so many good things about Trump. He's hitting on all the points. The fake news media must be physically ill watching this.
Mr. President, we are confronting history. It is a very exciting day for the citizens of Israel, a day that we all wished for. In the Jeremiah, it says that from when we hear your cry, there will be a wage for your, and they will return from the country of the enemies, and the sons returned to their borders, to their land. The book of Jeremiah. I want to wish all the hostages how happy we are and how good it is that you're back home. The President Trump, who will give us that the God Almighty will bless you, your family, your country, and all those who are dear to you, and will make
America, and may God bless the state of Israel. Toda rabba v'chag sameach.
This is like the 20th standing ovation the president has gotten there. All right, bring us Trump.
אני מתכבד להזמין כעת את ראש הממשלה.
I'm inviting now Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, to say a few words.
well, hopefully this will be the last speech, I would imagine. Then Netanyahu's coming up, and he will be introducing the president. So what I want to do, Mike, is let's take this break early while Netanyahu's talking, so we won't have to interrupt the president, okay, so quick. So Netanyahu's speaking. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We are carrying the President Trump's address to the Knesset in Israel, and Netanyahu is just starting to speak. So we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour early, and then we'll come back, and hopefully the president will be speaking then. We'll be right back. Now, you guys, I'm going to continue during the break. Karen.
The President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump. Welcome to Jerusalem, our eternal capital. Welcome to Israel in this moving day, exciting day, that will be inscribed in the history, on the annals of Israel, and you too, Mr. President, will be inscribed in the history of our nation, and you are already inscribed in the history of the world. And we remember our friends. We know your part, your important part, and the determined part of the return of the hostages in this day, when we were informed today, an hour ago, that all our live hostages returned back to us. What excitement. How long we've waited for this moment, and we have committed to return everyone. And I want to thank you personally and on behalf of the whole nation. Thank you, Mr. President, President Trump. Thank you, Mr. President.
But I'm not sure about the translation. So I'll say words in English.
Oh, good.
President Trump, the Knesset welcomes you and your distinguished delegation to Jerusalem, our eternal capital. This is your first visit to Israel.
Just over a minute.
Since you recognize Jerusalem as our capital and moved the embassy here, thank you, President Trump, for that. There are many other reasons to thank you since your last visit here. Thank you for recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. Thank you for standing up to the lies against Israel in the United Nations.
Okay, we got a few seconds. We'll be back on the radio. I got to do an intro when we get back on the radio. If you're watching with the green behind, go to my mainstream, linked in the description. You can see the video. Stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We're doing something that I don't remember ever doing before. If we've done it before, it may have only been once. President Trump's about to speak at the Knesset. He's sitting there. Netanyahu's speaking, and he's going to introduce the president. And we've been carrying this because it's very historic. And I figured that if it would be really kind of ridiculous for me while this historic moment was going on to try to do a normal show that people would probably just want to go, they want to hear this speech. So you would just go and find somebody somewhere that was sharing this speech. So I said, let's do it. We're going to carry it live on the program. And they've done nothing but praise President Trump and show him the proper respect that he deserves. So let me cut back to it. Right now, Netanyahu is speaking. I'm assuming he'll be the one that introduces the president.
My friends, this is only a partial list, but it's enough to affirm what I've said time and again. Donald Trump is the greatest friend that the state of Israel has ever had in the White House.
Candace Owens must be hating this. She's like, I told you, see, I told you.
No American president has ever done more for Israel. And as I said in Washington, it ain't even close. It's really not a match. Mr. President, today we welcome you here to thank you for your pivotal leadership in putting forward a proposal that got the backing of almost the entire world.
That's right.
A proposal that brings all our hostages home. A proposal that ends the war by achieving all our objectives. A proposal that opens the door to an historic expansion of peace in our region and beyond our region. Mr. President, you are committed to this peace. I am committed to this peace. And together, Mr. President, we will achieve this peace. We've done it before. We've done it before in the Abraham Accords, and we'll do it again. Mr. President, today the Jewish calendar marks the end of 2 years of war. That war began on October 7th, on the Jewish festival of Simchat Torah. You always tell me, and you tell the world, remember October 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. President, we remember.
Yep.
We remember the thousands of Hamas terrorists who stormed into our towns and kibbutzim. We remember the 1,200 people Hamas savagely slaughtered in cold blood, including dozens and dozens of Americans. We remember entire families burnt alive as they embraced each other. We remember the beautiful young Israelis brutally gunned down at the Nova Music Festival. We remember the hundreds of our citizens who were dragged into the dungeons of Gaza, including 12 Americans, men and women, young and old, babies and elderly Holocaust survivors. My friends, Mr. President Donald, these monsters take babies as hostages.
No.
In response to this barbaric attack on October 7th, Israel did what it had to do. With indomitable courage, we set out to defend our people, to defeat our enemies, and to release our hostages. Our heroic soldiers fought like lions. They fought on the front lines of civilization and barbarism. Israel achieved amazing victories over Hamas and the entire Iran terror axis. Sinwar, Def, Hania, Nasrallah, Assad, they're all gone. Iran's nuclear weapons and ballistic missile program, with your enormous help, Mr. President, rolled back. Half the Houthi leadership wiped out. But the price of this victory.
Now, if you're just joining us, you're listening to Benjamin Netanyahu. He is introducing President Trump at the Knesset, and we're carrying this. We'll carry it all throughout the show.
Parents, spouses, siblings, and children. Their love and laughter, their promise and potential were lost forever. To the families of our fallen fighters, many of them are here, I say, I know the depth of your pain.
Okay, now while Netanyahu is speaking, I want to tell you guys about the new Sloman's Shield link. The Sloman Shield link is absolutely amazing. It's the ultimate all-in-one ecosystem that integrates your smart devices with your Sloman Shield. The Sloman Shield link takes everyday routines and actions based on your preferences and connects all the other devices in your home to react based on your actions. Imagine this. You come home at night, your lights, your music, your television turns on as you enter your home. The Sloman Shield link can act on almost any scenario and create scenes based on what you want to occur. Whether you want your thermostat to turn down when you turn your alarm on or automatically lock your doors and make sure your security lighting is on, they can do all that. These scenarios are a reality with the Sloman Shield link integration platform. On top of all that, the Sloman Shield link is compatible with the devices you already have in your home. Sloman's includes installation for all your devices, plus they offer 24/7 support. Whether you need to troubleshoot a problem or you want to add programming, you can call anytime. Give them a call, 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050, 833-283-5050. So we are carrying the president's speech at the Knesset. They're still doing these introductions, but they're saying so many great things about the president. I was not going to carry the introductions, but they're pointing out so many things that need to be heard. We're going to take our next break early, so we'll have a longer period so we don't have to interrupt. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll take our last break of the hour, come back to the president in the Knesset in Israel for this historic ending of the 8th war that he's ended in like 8 months. We'll be right back. All right, we're clear. Now, you guys online, I'm going to continue to carry it.
There. Ari, you are the spirit of Joshua. You are the spirit of David. You are the spirit of the Maccabees. You are the spirit of Israel. I salute you. We all salute you. Sabine Tassa of Kibbutz Netiv HaAsara is watching us today from the Israeli consulate in Los Angeles. Sabine lost her husband and her oldest son on October 7th. She is the mother of 3 other boys. 2 of them, Koren and Shai, witnessed their father jump on a Hamas grenade.
Oh, my goodness.
To save his 2 sons.
Oh, my goodness.
We all saw the film of those 2 boys crying out in pain. Father is dead. Why? Why did God save me? Mr. President, my friend Donald, I've seen some very tough things in my life. But I couldn't bring myself to watch those boys suffering again. So I didn't see this film except once. Yet Sabine, their mother, has had the strength and fortitude to show this film across the world. And my wife Sarah and I asked her, Sabina, how do you do it? Why do you do it? And she answered, I do it to show the entire world the monsters Israel is fighting and the justice of our cause. This is what she's doing once again in Los Angeles. Sabine, you can hear me now, so I want to tell you on behalf of all of us, you embody the spirit of our biblical heroines, Deborah, Ruth, and Esther. You too are the spirit of Israel, and we all salute you. Mr. President, you asked me on our many conversations during the...
Okay, we're going to come back in 5 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. We're doing something that I don't ever remember doing again before. If we've done it before, it was one other time. We're carrying live President Trump at the Knesset. Netanyahu's introducing him right now. The president will be coming up any moment and speaking. You know, these petty jerks in the Democrat Party in this country, where right now it's 6:40 a.m. here on the East Coast, so it's 3:40 a.m. out on the West Coast. You probably still have these Democrat activists known as Antifa burning the city down in Portland. We've got this Tubbo governor of Illinois, Pritzker. We've got Gavin Newsom. We got Hakeem Jeffries, the Palestinian senator from New York, Schumer. And you hear how they're doing this very petty thing with the government shutdown, disagreeing with everything President Trump does. And the way that President Trump is being treated in the Knesset, by the entire Knesset, is how they should be treating him here. You know, this government shutdown that's going on, the only reason the Democrats are doing this is they're so out of power. Democrats, the left, are obsessed with power, authority, and control. The only power they have is to shut down the government. And by the way, the president ordered Pete Hegseth to pay the military. They are going to get paid. They have the money, probably from the tariffs that the Democrats have been fighting against. So we are carrying the entire event here at the Knesset because I think it needs to be carried. It's amazing. Netanyahu's still introducing the president. We'll cut back to that. And then I'm assuming, because Netanyahu's speaking, the president will be next. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Back to the Knesset.
Help, the determined and focused help, the unremitting help of President Trump and his team, and with the incredible sacrifice and courage of the soldiers of Israel, we are fulfilling that promise. It has been a long journey to get here. In the first week of the war, our brave soldiers put military pressure on Hamas, and the international community put diplomatic pressure on them. This enabled us to secure the release of over 100 hostages. In heroic rescue attempts behind enemy lines, Israel's special forces rescued 8 live hostages and brought back the remains of dozens more. But as time went on, we all know what happened. The diplomatic pressure was turned on its head. More and more governments bought into Hamas's false propaganda. More and more governments succumbed to anti-Semitic mobs in their own countries. They just turned on Israel. They called for us to surrender to Hamas demands, just leave Gaza immediately, they said, end the war without committing to disarm Hamas, without committing to demilitarize Gaza. Had Israel succumbed to those demands, not only would Sinwar, Nasrallah, Assad, and Iran's missile and nuclear program remain intact. Not only that, because in no time, the Hamas killers would be back on the border fence, ready to repeat the horrors of October 7th again and again, as they vowed to do. But just at that point of maximum pressure on Israel, a man named Donald J. Trump was elected President of the United States. And ladies and gentlemen, overnight, everything changed. Everything.
We felt it right here.
Mr. President, thanks to your unequivocal backing of Israel, we secured a second hostage deal within weeks of your election. And in the months that followed, we worked closely together to forge a path to bring the remaining hostages home and end the war. End the war in a way that ensures the disarming of Hamas, the demilitarization of Gaza, and that Gaza would never again pose a threat to Israel. 2 months ago, You fully backed my decision to send the IDF into the last Hamas stronghold in Gaza City. You shared my view that this military pressure would help free the hostages. And despite all the criticism, all the naysayers, we were right. Hamas caved in. And 2 weeks ago, you succeeded in doing something miraculous. You succeeded in doing something that no one believed was possible. You brought most of the Arab world, you brought most of the world behind your proposal to free the hostages and end the war. I want to thank Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, and Ron Dermer for their great contribution to this effort. And I want to thank our negotiating team. I believe that the close cooperation between the two of us, between our two nations, combining Israel's military pressure and President Trump's unmatched global leadership. I have to tell you, I've seen a lot of American presidents. I've seen them all in the time that I've been here, and I've been here quite a lot of time. I've never seen anyone move the world so quickly, so decisively, so resolutely as our friend President Donald J. Trump. With our military pressure and President Trump's global leadership, we achieved this historic moment. It's a moment of indescribable joy as our nation embraces our sons who are coming home. Mr. President, this week, Jews around the world are going to read the book of Ecclesiastes, Kohelet, in the Bible. The Bible has many miraculous moments. One of them was your decision to bomb Fordo. I think it was a pivot of history because it wasn't meant only to bomb Fordo. That action and your previous action of taking out Qasem Soleimani, the architect of death, I think that changed the balance of power in the world.
If you're just joining us, the president, he's being introduced by Netanyahu to speak of the Knesset, and we're covering it live. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All right, back to it. President Trump's going to knock it out of the park because this introduction of Netanyahu this is the praise that the fake news media in this country would never give him, and it's everything he says is true.
Meditations of thought, a perspective on life and on death. And in this book, we read the immortal words of King Solomon. To everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. Et milchama ve'et shalom. A time for peace and a time for war. The last 2 years have been a time of war. The coming years will hopefully be a time for peace. Peace inside Israel and peace outside Israel. I look forward to continuing marching with you on the path we paved together with the Abraham Accords. Under your leadership, we can forge new peace treaties with Arab countries in the region and Muslim countries beyond the region. Abraham's children will work together to build a better future, a future that will unite civilization against barbarism, light against darkness, and hope against despair. And my friends, I believe that with President Trump's leadership, this will happen a lot faster than people think. As Prime Minister of Israel, I extend my hand to hold those who seek peace with us. No one wants peace more than the people of Israel. Israel will always remain vigilant in defending itself, and Israel will always remain full of hope. Hope is our national anthem. Hope is our creed. Hope is our strength. It is time, my friends, to realize that hope and expand the circle of peace. Mr. President, thank you for all you have done for us. I have submitted your nomination to be the first non-Israeli recipient of the Israel Prize, Israel's highest award. As to that other prize, just a question of time, you'll get it. But I want you to get the Israel Prize, our highest award, to our greatest friend. When others were weak, you were strong. When others were fearful, you were bold. When others abandoned us, you stood by our side. On behalf of the government and people of Israel, I thank you for your extraordinary friendship. Thank you for helping bring our hostages home. Thank you for supporting Israel's march to victory. Thank you for paving a path to peace. מכובדי נשיא ארצות הברית, ידידי דונלד.
Honorary President, welcome to Israel. Welcome to Jerusalem. Welcome in this exciting day that brought us to this day.
This is Netanyahu's introduction to the president. We're carrying it live. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. They're giving another standing ovation to the president. This is like the 80th one. And he hasn't even started speaking yet.
May God bless America. May God bless Israel. And may God bless the covenant between our two promised lands. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Now, hopefully the president will come up next. This is absolutely amazing. You know, I mean, you got to think about it. If Kamala would have won, if Trump wouldn't have come back, if the Never Trumpers would have accomplished their goals and put him in jail, or what happened in Butler, none of this would be happening. All these freed hostages would be dead, right? Over 60,000 Palestinians died in Gaza. That would never have stopped, right? I mean, this endless war. He's ended every war on the planet except for one. He's ended 8 of the 9 wars. 8 of the 9 wars ended because of this man. And Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer are still hating on him? All right, here comes the president.
The president?
Here they go. The Trump chant. Yes.
Come on up, opposition. Come on, opposition.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, the president got up to speak. Okay. The president got up to speak, but the opposition leader has to come up and talk. If you're on hold, stand by. Let me take a call or two while we don't need to listen to the opposition leader. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. You missed your chance. You know, Hopefully this guy won't go on too long. I thought President Trump was going to come on. You know, what happened with this, the opposition leader's about to speak, so we don't have to carry him right now. If the rest of you on hold, you stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. This speech that President Trump was scheduled to give, it was scheduled to be at 4 a.m. Eastern Time. So I got up extra early this morning because I wanted to do my show prep and watch the entire speeches in its entirety. So I got up at 12:30 last night so I could get all of my show prep done and have time to catch the president's speech at 4 a.m. Well, 4 a.m., they didn't start till this event until around 5:30 a.m.-ish. And here we are 5 minutes to 7, and the president still hasn't started speaking. So I was expecting him to be done by 6 and then do a normal show. And, of course, I'd play some sound bites and such. I wanted to make sure I had time to get sound bites together and everything else. But because they went so far behind, I made the decision right before showtime to carry the speech because I figured that's what people would want to hear, that if I don't carry it, you're just going to go somewhere that has it and listen to it there. So we're going to carry the opposition leader speaking right now. So I'm not going to carry him. If you would like to call in, I'll take some calls and talk about some issues while we're waiting for the opposition leader to speak. Hopefully he won't go on for as long as Netanyahu did, because I'm very interested in hearing the president. But this second term of President Trump's, the second non-consecutive term of President Trump's, is the most perfect presidential term we've ever had. Everything is just going perfectly. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
President Trump.
You're on the air.
President Trump.
Once. All right, let me put you on hold. All right, we'll take another call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, it's going to be one of those days. See, they have the opposition leader speaking in Israel right now. We have the opposition calling us here, obviously. But this if you're on hold, hang in there. This second term of President Trump's, everything has gone like clockwork. And you know what's amazing to me is that during that last year before the election, they went through all of this lawfare, right? The E. Jean Carroll, the Letitia cases, the Bragg cases, that other thing with Stormy Daniels, with Mershon. They shot him. They tried to shoot him. And, and during all of that, President Trump was making plans. And the plans he was making are what we're seeing now, right? He put together a pretty perfect cabinet, if you think about it. There's some one person in particular I'm not so happy with, but he's put together pretty much a completely perfect cabinet. He's gotten his entire agenda done. I don't know how he found time to plan out this second term and how he was going to do things with everything that he was going up against. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
So happy with, but he's put together.
See what we're doing here? That's what's going on. That's okay. That's okay. Do your thing. You're not going to stop us. I've dealt with worse people than that. The rest of you on hold, hang tight. Well, after we take the break for the top of the hour, if the opposition leader is still speaking, I'm not going to carry the opposition leader. I'll continue doing a show until the president's going to speak. But we'll take our break for the top of the hour. When we get back, hopefully the president will be up by then. And if he is, that's a good thing. But if he's not, he's not. But we do have a lot of people on hold. You're welcome to call in. Certainly when the president's done speaking, we'll go back to the phones. The number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Steve and I, yesterday, we met at Wings Plus in the afternoon to record commercials. And that was, and you'll be hearing some of them on the radio this week. But if you've not been to Wings Plus for lunch, oh, man, you guys got to stop by. Wings Plus is about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. in Coral Springs, and to smell those beautiful wings. We were there like 2 p.m. to smell those wings cooking while we were recording commercials. It was tough to record while our mouths were watering. All right, those of you on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. Come back with President Trump speaking at the Knesset. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. See, this is what we're getting. You're on the air. Oh, hold on. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? See, that's the opposition, guys. I'll try one more during the break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Jamal Gardner. Dark Maga over here. Hey, Brian, man, everything you're saying is spot on. This is by far the best presidency, man, ever.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? And we just got to keep supporting President Trump. And once he gets that Nobel Peace Prize, a lot of people will start realizing how much of a difference he's making in the world, man.
Oh, yeah.
And I only have one gripe.
Okay.
About our president. That was the food that was supposed to get sent over to the starving people. That was the only thing. That was the only issue I had. But everything else, man, is perfect.
What do you mean?
Man.
Your issue was what? That he sent
You
food?
remember when the food that started rotting in the warehouses?
Why would you take issue with that?
That was supposed to get sent to the starving people across the world.
Oh yeah, it didn't get to them.
Yeah, man, that's the only gripe, man. Because
oh, come on.
But I'm glad everything is shaping out perfectly. But that was the only gripe I had, man.
I mean, come on. I mean, that's pretty close to perfection. I don't know how you can have any gripes.
That's what I mean. No, I agree with you. I'm on board with you, man.
Yeah.
I was just saying, it's just that the people were starving, man, and some people passed away behind it.
Well, no,
he
delivered. I don't have to research it because I remember when it happened. They dropped food, but but it was a war zone, and Hamas would come in and steal all the supplies.
That's what. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize that, man.
Yeah.
But it's the food. It's food still rotting in the warehouses.
Well, I don't know about that, but everything's going to get taken care of
you
now.
Can look it up, man.
Because I'm sure I could look it up,
I'm not just making it.
But how can you deliver relief supplies when you have all these people doing these things?
Right. No, but this wasn't food that was going. This wasn't food that was going to Gaza. It was going to Africa. Mm-hmm. But this actually helped our farmers in the U.S. So it's a lot in the agriculture thing. That's why it's collapsing a little bit. But he's gonna, don't trust me. He's gonna get everything back on track. That was just the only thing.
Okay.
That I had.
All right, I'm gonna run, but thanks for the call. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. All right, stand by. The rest of you on hold, stand by. We'll be back shortly. We're coming back from the radio in just a minute. Okay. Yeah, about a minute we'll be back on the radio. I tell you, these politicians, they love to talk, don't they? I mean, my goodness. Do you know this opposition? By the way, do you guys agree with me carrying the speech? Was this the right decision to make early in the morning or not? Tell me what you guys think in the chat. Although this opposition leader, I mean, who wants to listen to him? It's like listening to Hakeem Jeffries or Schumer. Right? You'd be better off if he spoke just for like a couple minutes and then got the president up, as opposed to going on about what people don't want to hear. Right? Exactly. Yes, definitely. Okay. Because I might get heat from it because I didn't ask for permission. I just made a programming decision. So I wasn't sure if I should do it or not. Who knows? I think if I didn't carry it, everybody would be watching it somewhere as opposed to listening to me. I just don't think... I think I made the right choice too. All right, stand by. Welcome back, everyone. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We're waiting for the president to speak at the Knesset. And I tell you, right now, the opposition leader is still speaking. So they had the leader of the Knesset speak. He spoke for a while. Netanyahu came up, and I just assumed that was going to be the intro to Trump. And not only did I assume that, the president assumed it because he got up to the podium. And then the leader of the Knesset said, oh, no, the opposition leader's got to speak now. And my guess is that they feel about the opposition leader the same way we feel about Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries here. And this guy's going on and on. If the guy were really looking for some attention, he would speak for a couple of minutes and then let Trump speak. Nobody wants to hear the opposition leader, but this is their big moment. But I do like the head of the Knesset said, or was it Netanyahu? No, it was Netanyahu said, or no, the head of the Knesset said this, that in 2,000 years, Jews will remember the name Donald Trump for what he did today. That's pretty crazy. Isn't that amazing? It absolutely is. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, please do. Our number is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I'm doing a quick commercial here because when the president speaks, I don't want to have to stop down as much. But I want to talk about coastal weight loss secret. I noticed, where I noticed there's two places, well, there's many places I'm noticing the weight loss, but there's a couple places that I notice it where that I know others notice it. Of course, in my face and neck, right? You guys that watch me online on YouTube, you can see all the weight loss I've had in my face and neck. I haven't shaved over the weekend, but when I shave, you can really see. But the other one is my stomach. I was starting to get a belly, and I didn't like that. But I just assumed, hey, I'm over 50, and that's just the way it is, and nothing I'm going to do is going to rid me of that belly. And then when I lost all this weight from Coastal Weight Loss Secret, my belly's flat. Not only did I lose the weight, I lost my belly. It's absolutely amazing. And, I thought when it came to weight loss, I was going to have to starve myself. I thought I was going to have to work out. I thought I was going to have to eat foods I didn't like. I didn't do any exercise. I didn't starve myself. And I eat foods I would normally eat. And my results are typical. You can lose 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 2 months with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And they can help you no matter where you are located in the United States. Okay, so if you're local, that's great. Go on into the office for that free consultation. But if you're somewhere else in the United States, give them a call. We have listeners all over the country that have literally lost more than a ton of weight with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Here's the number, 561-247-6300. Give them a call and set up your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. The opposition leader is finishing, and I know Trump is like, okay, do I get to talk now? So I guess someone's going to have to intro Trump, and we're going to cut to that because we don't want to miss the president. However, this second term is not only perfect and amazing. President Trump has raised the bar for future presidents. The American people expect not just results, but big results now. And all these George W. Bush presidents and things we've had, that's not going to fly anymore. All right, the president's walking up to the podium. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. He's getting like his 95th standing ovation from the Knesset. Here it is.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great honor. Nice place. Very nice place. Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, esteemed members of the Knesset and cherished citizens of Israel, we gather on a day of profound joy, of soaring hope, of renewed faith, and above all, a day to give our deepest thanks to the Almighty God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. After 2 harrowing years in darkness and captivity, 20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their families, and it is glorious. 28 more precious loved ones are coming home at last to rest in this sacred soil for all of time. And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity. This is not only the end of a war, this is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East. I want to express my gratitude to a man of exceptional courage and patriotism whose partnership did so much to make this momentous day possible. You know who I'm talking about. There's only one, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Bibi, please stand up. And he is not easy, I want to tell you. He's not the easiest guy to deal with, but that's what makes him great. That's what makes him great. Thank you very much, baby. Great job. And let me also convey my tremendous appreciation for all of the nations of the Arab and Muslim world that came together to press Hamas to set the hostages free and to send them home. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help from a lot of people that you wouldn't suspect, and I want to thank them very much for that. It's an incredible triumph for Israel and the world to have all of these nations working together as partners in peace. And it's pretty unusual for you to see that, but it happened in this case. This was a very unusual point in time, a brilliant point in time. Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change, and change very much for the better. Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East. It's going to work together. I'd like to thank several great American patriots for their invaluable help in getting something done that almost everyone thought was absolutely impossible. We were wasting our time. So many people said, "You're just wasting your time." But we weren't, because we had talented people working with us, and we had people that loved your country, and frankly, people that loved the region. They loved the Middle East. I want to thank my friend Steve Witkoff. You know, Steve was chosen by me. He never did this before, but I knew him as a few things. He was a great businessman, but I know a lot of great businessmen, to be honest with you. He had tremendous negotiating skills, but I know a lot of people that negotiate pretty well, although it is an art. But there are people that can negotiate pretty well. But most importantly with Steve, he's just a great guy. Everybody loved him. Everybody. I mean, I know some negotiators that are so good, but you wouldn't have had peace in the Middle East. Would be in World War III right now with some of these guys. Everybody loves Steve, and they respect him, and they somehow can relate to him. I've known him for many years, and I've seen it over and over again.
להוציא את חבר הכנסת עודה, להוציא אותו מהאולם, להוציא
A
אותו מיד,
protester.
החוצה, החוצה.
Please
A
expel
protester.
this Knesset member. Please expel this Knesset member.
Oh boy, I'd like to know who that is.
Please expel Knesset member Kasif out of the hall.
Okay, we are airing the speech of President Trump at the Knesset. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Okay, I'm going to continue to carry it here, though, okay? Oh, boy. Can't wait till we find out who that was and what they were all about.
That was very efficient.
Well, they don't mess around. I can't wait to see the video. Wow. They don't mess around.
So back to Steve.
Who would protest this?
But I tell one story because he was so involved, and then we called in Jared. We need that brain on occasion. We got to get Jared in here. We got to get a certain group of people. But Steve started this all by himself. I call him Henry Kissinger, who doesn't leak. Okay? Henry is a big leaker. He leaked. Steve doesn't leak. Steve just wants to get the job done. He wants to do what's right. But I'll give you just a quick story because, as you know, he's working on the war with Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah, the
a
last
war that
war in
would
the
have
world.
never happened if I were president. A shame. 7,000 young soldiers a week are being killed. More than that this last week. It's a shame. Should have never happened. But it did happen, and we won the race, and I took over this horrible war that's been raging, and I thought it would be easily settled. I thought it was a hell of a lot easier than doing what we just did very successfully with Israel and a lot of other people. But this came first, and we'll get that one. But I set up a meeting for him to meet with President Putin, thinking it would be a 15 or a 20-minute meeting. Steve had no idea about Russia, had no idea about Putin too much, didn't know too much about politics, wasn't that interested. He was really good at real estate, but he had that quality that I was looking for, and I didn't see it around in too many ways. And I set up the meeting with Putin, and I called. I said, is Steve finished yet? That was about a half an hour into the meeting. No, sir, he's not. He's still inside. This is in Moscow. I said, well, how's he doing? I don't know, sir. He's still inside. I called up an hour later. Let me speak to Steve. Sir, he's still with Putin. He's with President Putin. I said, wow, that's a long meeting, 1 hour. I called up an hour later, he was still with Putin. 3 hours later, he was still with Putin. 4 hours later, he started to get the word that he was going to be coming out soon. And in 5 hours, he came out. I said, what the hell were you talking about for 5 hours? And he says, just a lot of interesting things. We're talking about a lot of interesting things, including what he went in there for, but you can't talk about it for 5. You can talk about it for a certain period of time, and you know what you're getting. But that's a talent. That's a talent, where you can do that. Most people I'd send in, number one, they wouldn't be accepted. Number two, if they were, the meeting would last 5 minutes, and that's what happens with Steve. Everybody loves him. They love him on this side. They love him on the other side. And he really is. He's a great negotiator because he's a great guy. So thank you very much, Steve, very much. And let me also give a very special thanks to someone who truly loves Israel.
All right, we're coming back in less than 30 seconds, so I got to do an intro when we get back. I was just looking online. They haven't, I'm sure we're going to get some video of who that was Okay. 10 seconds. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We're carrying live President Trump speaking and addressing the Knesset in Israel. The war is over, the president has declared. The surviving hostages have all been returned to Israel, and they just had someone in the Knesset throw a fit that was physically removed from the chamber. And I don't know who that was yet. I'm sure we'll all know soon. So I'm going to go back to the president addressing the Knesset.
Did something very special. He established the Abraham Accords with a group of very wonderful people. I like calling it the Avraham Accords because people that, right? Hey, Avraham. It's so cool. It's so much sort of nicer, you know, the Abraham versus the Avraham. I just don't want to sound too sanctimonious when I do it, so, you know, I sort of split it up. This way we keep everybody happy. But we have some very great talent, and they have no excuses for anything that's taken place because we had some unbelievably good people working on this. And then you're going to add a man named Marco Rubio, who is also here. That's right. And I have a prediction that Marco will go down, I mean this, as the greatest Secretary of State in the history of the United States. I believe that. I believe it. And he and I, you know, we really fought it out. You remember, he was tough. He was nasty. Who the hell thought this was going to happen, Marco, right? And now I'm saying he's going to go down as the greatest. He will. He was always smart and sharp, and people respect him. And then we have somebody who's young, but an unbelievable leader. I saw it a long time ago, and he's turned out to be even better than we thought. Right, Susie? I think even better. And that's Pete Hegseth, who is our Secretary of War, formerly Secretary of Defense. And as you know, we decisively won World War I. We decisively won World War II decisively. And everything in between and everything before it, we won everything. And then they had the brilliant idea of changing the name from war, you know, it was war, to defense. And with that went a certain thinking. And we fought in a very politically correct way after that. We always had the strongest military, and now we have a stronger military than we've ever had before. Because of my first term, I've totally rebuilt the military, every aspect of it. But we have, if you think, we settled 8 wars in 8 months. I'm now including this one, by the way, if that's okay. They may say, well, that was quick. Because yesterday I was saying 7, but now I can say 8. The hostages are back. The hostages are back. It is a good feeling. Isn't that nice to say? You know, I just said the hostage. First time I said the hostages are back. It feels so good to say it. But when you settle 8 wars in 8 months, that means you don't like war. Everyone thought I was going to be brutal. In fact, I remember Hillary Clinton during a debate, she said, look at him, he's going to go to war with everybody. And actually, she said, he's got a personality that's all about war. No, and my personality actually is all about stopping wars, and it seems to work. It seems to work. But it also means this name change and our attitude that we're not going to go into a war. But if we do, we're going to win that war like nobody has ever won a war before. We will not be politically correct, but we're not going to be there. And I think, you know, as you mentioned, Bibi, before, peace through strength. And that's what it's all about. The United States has the greatest and most powerful military in the, right now, history of the world. I can tell you we have weapons that nobody's ever dreamt of. I only hope we never have to use them. I rebuilt the military. I was proud to do it, but some of the things I hated to do, I hated certain of the weapons because the level of power is so enormous, it's so dangerous, so bad. But we have to do what we have to do. We make the best weapons in the world, and we've got a lot of them. And we've given a lot to Israel, frankly. And
Okay, now if you're just tuning in, it's Brian Craig here. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. We're carrying Trump's speech at the Knesset live is what you're listening to. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour, then back with the president. If you're on hold, stand by, because we will talk about this and process it when it's all over. It's The Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Back right after this.
Bibi and I made them. But we'd get them here, wouldn't we? And they are the best.
Now I'm going to continue to carry it for you guys during the breaks.
People that know how to use them, and you obviously used them very well. But so many that Israel became strong and powerful, which ultimately led to peace. That's what led to peace. So as we celebrate today, let us remember how this nightmare of depravity and death all began. 2 years ago, on the eve of the Simchat Torah holiday, thousands of innocent Israeli civilians were attacked by terrorists, and one of the most evil and heinous desecrations of innocent life the world has ever seen, the worst slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust.
That's right.
The cruelty of October 7th struck to the core of humanity itself. Nobody could believe what they were witnessing. The United States of America grieved alongside you, and we mourned for our own citizens who were so viciously taken that day. And to all the families whose lives were forever changed by the atrocities of that day, and all of the people of Israel, please know that America joins you in those two everlasting vows: never forget and never again. From October 7th until this week, Israel has been a nation at war, enduring burdens that only a proud and faithful people could withstand. It was a very tough period of time. For so many families across this land, it has been years since you've known a single day of true peace. But now at last, not only for Israelis, but also for Palestinians and for many others, the long and painful nightmare is finally over. And as the dust settles, the smoke fades, the debris is removed, and the ashes cleaned from the air, the day that breaks on a region transformed, and a beautiful and much brighter future appears suddenly within your reach. This is now a very exciting time for Israel and for the entire Middle East, because all across the Middle East, the forces of chaos, terror, and ruin that have plagued the region for decades now stand weakened, isolated, and totally defeated. A new coalition of proud and responsible nations is emerging, and because of us, the enemies of all civilization are in retreat. Thanks to the bravery and incredible skill of the Israeli Defense Forces and Operation Rising Lion.
We'll be coming back on the radio in just a minute.
Guy's central casting. Let's put him in a movie. Look at him. Great job. And my people loved working with you. Loved it.
All right, we'll be back in 10 seconds, so I got to do an intro. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. Stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. If you're on hold, stand by. We've been doing something I guess I was talking about this earlier. I don't think we've ever done this before because I don't remember doing it. We're carrying a speech live, and we're carrying President Trump's speech at the Knesset right now live on the program. And carrying it for two reasons. One, it's important and very historic. But two, I think that's what you guys would want to hear this morning. So I think if I didn't carry it, you would just go searching for someone who was, right? So I'm carrying the speech for both of those reasons, mainly because it's important and it needs to be heard. Before we go back to the speech, I want to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. You know, Jupiter Joe Thomas offers free consultations, which you can take advantage of in person, over the phone, on Zoom, any way you want to do it. And after that free consultation, he puts together a custom proposal for you based on your situation. So I'm going to give you the number in a moment and your goals as well. Call Jupiter Joe Thomas and schedule your no-charge consultation and meet with him. Talk to him about annuities. They're absolutely amazing. You know, with annuities, your money's never at risk. You're not going to lose any money, and you're guaranteed an income stream for the rest of your life. But this free consultation, I just want you to understand the value of that. Joe Thomas has been in the retirement planning industry for over 30 years. He's a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by fewer than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. So you're getting a free consultation with a top man in the industry. Give him a call and schedule it right now. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, the easiest website to remember ever, jupiterjoe.com. That's jupiterjoe.com. All right, we're going to go right back to the president speaking to the Knesset. The president has declared that the war is over. Back to President Trump.
For you for a long time. You got to be kidding. So they told me 3, 4, 5 years to defeat ISIS. And I sit down with him and I say, why is it? I flew there in the dark of night. I landed. I'll never forget it. It's quite a trip. I'm glad I made it because I met him. I said, could I ask you, General? I come down. He's standing with another general and a sergeant. Everybody was like central casting. They could go into a movie right now. Between him and you guys over here, we could get rich making movies, okay? And they got along so great. That's the beautiful thing, that your military and our military, Bibi, got along so great. But I was told by the television generals in Washington, we have the best equipment in the world. Why is it taking so long? And they said, 4 years. I said, so let me ask you, Raisin, how long would it take you to defeat ISIS? Sir, we can do it in 3 weeks, but you'll probably have some time left over. I said, you got to be kidding. What the hell are you talking about? They said 4 years. I said, well, sir, look, it's not my place to say, but you're asking me the question. What you have to do is you hit him from the west, you hit him from the north, you hit him from the south, you hit him above, you hit him below. I said, so why didn't they do it? And he didn't want to speak badly of his superiors, which is hard to believe they were his superiors. Should have been the other way around a long time ago, because he's the one that did Operation Hammer. It was flawless. It was flawless. It was absolutely flawless. And I said, so you really think you can do it in 4 weeks? Yes, sir, 100%. You have to do it differently than they were doing it. They were using one base, and it was hundreds of miles away. And he says, we have all these portable bases all over the Middle East. And they didn't want to use them because they didn't want to offend the country where the portable, they wouldn't have even known what the hell the planes were going up, right? They wouldn't have known, but he said, no, they didn't want to defend anybody, offend anybody, and but we can do it in 4 weeks. I said, you sure about that? I'm going to call you back. I'll call you back on Monday. I'm going back to Washington. But you think 4 weeks? Yes, sir, I think we can do it in 4 weeks. We'll have time left over. So I call him on Monday. I say, you think you can do it? 4 weeks. I said, go ahead and do it. He did it. I'll tell you, he did it in 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks. So, General, stand up, please. Again, this is a real general. This is not a television general. He doesn't want to go on television. He doesn't want to go on television. I said the other guys love being on television. So we dropped 14 bombs on Iran's key nuclear facilities, totally, as I said originally, obliterating them. And that's been confirmed, and everybody understands it. Together we stopped the #1 state sponsor of terror from obtaining the world's most dangerous weapons. And if you think about it, if we didn't do that, and assuming we made the same deal that we have today, there'd be a dark cloud over this deal. And #1, it wouldn't happen because the other Arab and Muslim nations really wouldn't feel comfortable making the deal that we have now, right? If Iran had that nuclear weapon that they were about 2 months away from having. They would have had it in 2 months or maybe less than that. They were right at, this was our last shot. They looked at it for 22 years. This was our last shot. The pilots told me that. They said, 22 years, sir. They looked at it. Our predecessors looked, they studied it. 3 times a year would do drills on that exact attack. And boy, did they get it right. But let's assume they didn't, and let's assume there was large-scale nuclear weapons in the hands of Iran. We couldn't be here today. Even if we signed the deal, which we couldn't do because a lot of people would not want to have anything to do with it, we took a big cloud off of the Middle East and off of Israel.
If you're just tuning in, I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We're carrying the president, President Trump, live speaking to the Knesset. He just declared the war is over with Israel and Gaza, and we're carrying the speech live. All right, back to it.
But you had somebody out there that was, in the opinion of everybody, all-powerful in the Middle East. They took a big hit, didn't they? Didn't they take a big hit? Boy, oh boy. They got it from one side, from the other. And you know, it would be great if we could make a peace deal with them. And I think that's big. Would you be happy with that? Wouldn't it be nice, I think? Because I think they want to. I think they're tired. Somebody said, sir, they're starting their nuclear program again. I said, let me tell you something. They're not starting anything. They want to survive. The last thing they want to do is start digging holes again in mountains that just got blown up and start... They're not doing it. They want to survive, okay? But I think we have a chance. Steve, you, and I think Jared, come on, I'll call you back for another one. We always bring Jared when we want to get that deal closed. We bring Jared, but Steve, you and Jared and the General and Pete and Marco, you'll get that deal done easy. I think that'll be easy. But first we have to get Russia done. We got to get that one done. If you don't mind, Steve, let's focus on Russia first, all right? We'll get it done. In Lebanon, the dagger of Hezbollah, long aimed at Israel's throat, has been totally shattered. My administration is actively supporting the new president of Lebanon in his mission to permanently disarm Hezbollah's terror brigades. He's doing very well. and build a thriving state at peace with its neighbors. And you're very much in favor of that, I know. And it's good things are happening there, really good things. And with this week's ceasefire, we've achieved the most challenging breakthrough of them all. The most challenging breakthrough maybe ever. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I've been involved in a lot of success. I have never seen anything like what's going on today all over the world. People are dancing in the streets, not just in Israel. They're dancing in the streets of countries that would have never danced in the street about what's happening today. They're dancing in those streets. So this long and difficult war has now ended. You know, some people say 3,000 years, some people say 500 years, whatever it is. It's the granddaddy of them all. And in an unprecedented achievement, virtually the entire region has endorsed the plan that Gaza will be immediately demilitarized, that Hamas will be disarmed, and Israel's security will no longer be threatened in any way, shape, or form. So Israel, with our help, has won all that they can by force of arms. You've won. I mean, you've won. Now it's time to translate these victories against terrorists on the battlefield into the ultimate prize of peace and prosperity for the entire Middle East. It's about time you were able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Mr. Opposition Leader. I said he's a very nice opposition leader. I think... No, he's a nice man. Bibi, he's a nice man. Good. He knows what he's doing, right? No, a very nice guy. Well, see, now you can be a little bit nicer, Bibi, because you're not at war anymore, Bibi. But only by embracing the opportunities of this moment can we achieve our goal of ensuring that the horrors of recent years will never happen again. You don't want to have to go through this again. 8 years ago, I came to this region on a very special first trip abroad as the President of the United States. I came here very early at your request.
Right now, we're going to take our last break of the hour. If you're just tuning in, we are carrying President Trump, and we are carrying him live speaking to the Knesset. Now, I want to ask you this. Do you or someone you know or love suffer from neuropathy? Well, then go get over to Lighthouse Medical in Pompano. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of that no-charge consultation. By the way, if you have neuropathy or a loved one or a friend has it, no matter where you are in the United States, Lighthouse Medical can help you with telemedicine. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, tingling in your hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance? Are you falling down all the time? Do you have the feeling of pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. Well, Lighthouse Medical can rid you of all those neuropathy symptoms. They did with Steve Kane over 3 years ago. They rid Steve Kane of his neuropathy symptoms, and over 3 years later, they have not returned. Here's the number, 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, we're going to take our last break of the hour, then we'll be back with President Trump speaking live at the Knesset.
World, as you probably have been reading, but the richest nations, most powerful nations, tremendous, headed by some tremendous people in many cases. Some cases I wouldn't say necessarily I would endorse, but I will tell you some incredible people that really helped us make this all possible. So I'll be going there. I'll be quite late. They might not be there by the time I get there, but we're going to give it a shot. But the journey we started back then led to the crushing defeat of the ISIS caliphate, to the monumental Abraham Accords, and ultimately to the historic ceasefire this week, in which many of those same nations really played a very pivotal role, I have to tell you. Steve will tell you that. Jared will tell you that. Together we've shown that peace is not just a hope, that we can dream about. It's a reality we can build upon day by day, person by person, and nation by nation. And because of that, the Middle East is finally ready to embrace its extraordinary potential. You have extraordinary potential in this region. It should now be clear to everyone throughout the region that decades of fomenting terrorism and extremism, jihadism and anti-Semitism have not worked. They haven't worked. They've been a disaster. They've just killed. They've killed. They've backfired completely and totally. They've just totally backfired. Everything that you thought, take it worst case, it's turned out to be worse than that. They have not worked. From Gaza to Iran, those bitter hatreds have delivered nothing but misery, suffering, failure, and death. They've served not to weaken Israel, but to annihilate the very forces that did the most to foment this hatred. And it's really, I mean, everybody that's tried it has become irrelevant.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we've seen those nations that set aside their differences, reached across ancient divides, and pursued engagement are now among the most successful in the region. They're getting along with Israel, and they're doing great. And I can tell you the 4 nations that joined the Abraham Accords early on, and you'd all be doing me a favor, and I'm going to be saying this in a little while to some other friends, would love you all to, is this right, Jared? Join up in the Abraham Accords. We have to join up and get together. You can have that whole thing filled out. We had a very weak administration, worst.
All right, we'll be coming back in just a few seconds, and then I got to do a intro on the radio, and then I'm going to throw it back. It looks like he's about ready to wrap it up. How long has he been speaking? Does anyone know? All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We're carrying President Trump speaking live at the Knesset in Israel. He declared the war is over. He said Marco Rubio is going to go down as the most historic Secretary of State in history. Isn't that something? Florida's own Secretary of State Marco Rubio. All right, and back to President Trump live at the Knesset.
Because ultimately, you know, the world's a very big place. And I've said a lot. I said, this piece of land is very small. It's unbelievable when you know with that tiny, you look at a map even of just not the world, the Middle East, and you have this little dot. And think of what you've done. It's incredible. It's incredible. But the world is loving Israel again. And I said to people, you know, the world is big and it's strong. And Ron, ultimately, the world wins. And we don't have to worry about that now. But there was getting to be a period of time over the last few months, you know, the world wanted peace and Israel wanted peace. Everybody did. Everybody did. And what a victory it's been, right? What a victory it's been. If you would have gone on for 3-4 more years, keep fighting, it was getting bad. It was getting heated. The timing of this is brilliant. And I said, Bibi, you're going to be remembered for this far more than if you kept this thing going, kill. It would be it would not be the same. And I just want to congratulate you for having the courage to say, that's it, we've won. And now let's enjoy our lives and let's rebuild Israel and make it stronger and bigger and better than it's ever been before.
Sounds like
we're going to do that.
Sounds like Netanyahu didn't want to end the war. I agree with that.
And the choice for Palestinians could not be more clear. This is their chance to turn forever from the path of terror and violence. It's been extreme, to exile the wicked forces of hate that are in their midst, and I think that's going to happen. I've met some people over the last couple of months that want to see it happen very much, and After tremendous pain and death and hardship, now is the time to concentrate on building their people up instead of trying to tear Israel down. We don't want that to happen again. And the total focus of Gazans must be on restoring the fundamentals of stability, safety, dignity, and economic development so they can finally have the better life that their children really do deserve after all these decades of horror. I intend to be a partner in this effort in the sense that we're going to help and we're going to do something that became unbelievably popular. Everybody wants to be on it. It's called the Board of Peace, okay? How about that? Is that a beautiful name? Like a board of peace. The only bad thing from my standpoint, every single nation involved has asked me to be the chair, and I'll tell you, I'm very busy. I didn't count on that, but you know what? If we do it, we'll do it right, and we have unbelievable power and wealth, because you're going to need wealth. You're going to need wealth to rebuild things, and they have wealth like few people have wealth. I want to thank the Arab and Muslim nations for their commitment that they've made to support a safe rebuilding of Gaza and beyond. I have many Arab countries, very wealthy countries, that came up and said, we'll put up tremendous amounts of money to get rebuild Gaza, and I think that's going to happen. The power, they want dignity, they want to come forward, and they want to say, and I want to say who they are, because what they're doing is going to be, I think, something that you're going to be very impressed with, Bibi, and you need that. You need the kind of economic power that they have, and they want to see it work, and they want to see it be safe, and they want to see it be good for Israel, too. And as much money as it will be, and it's a lot, as you can see, it's a lot. For these countries, it's relatively little relative to their worth. It's really a lot of money like most people could never even conceive, but for these countries, it's not that much, especially because it ensures success and stability in the Middle East, which is what they want to see. So many of them will be with us in Egypt in a little while, I think. I'm not sure. They may be gone. They may have taken their Boeing 747s and left. I said, what kind of a plane do you fly? 747. I said, that's a large plane. No, they may have. Steve, do you think they've left on their their brand new Boeing 747s? Or I don't know. We're going to find out soon. It's going to be a big story.
If he shows up, no one's
two
there.
people left. And they'll be the two poorest ones. But it will be the wealthiest and most powerful group of nations. So the group that we have assembled, that's waiting for us, is the wealthiest and most powerful group ever assembled at one time. There has never been a group like this. And they're only looking for good. They want good. They're going to do good. And as those commitments are made, I'm going to let the world know who's doing it, because they really deserve to get the credit. And some of them probably won't want the credit, but they deserve it. It's more obvious than ever that the productive and responsible nations of this region should not be enemies or adversaries. You should be partners and eventually even friends, and that's what's going to happen. I know it. Together you can stand against the forces of chaos. Yeah, you go ahead. That's an important point. Because you can stand against the forces of chaos that threaten all of your interests, and it's always a big threat, and unleash incredible prosperity and opportunity for all the people of these lands, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to unleash numbers and success, the likes of which Israel has never been able to think of, because you're so firm, and you should be, and you've done the right thing in defending yourself. You're not going to have to worry so much about it. You've won, and now you can build, and you can do things that you never even thought possible. When you put that genius into doing something else, it's going to be something it's going to be a miracle. The miracle in the desert, it's going to be amazing. And it already is in a true sense.
All right, now we're carrying, I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We're carrying live the president speaking to the Knesset in Israel. He's getting close to wrapping it up. We've been carrying the whole thing. He's running hours behind, so he's made a couple comments. There's going to be anybody left in Egypt when I get there. But I want to talk about Life Imaging FLA. You know, they have 3 locations in Broward, Miami, and in Palm Beach. You know, Life Imaging FLA can easily detect heart disease and even some cancers before a patient shows any symptoms, using just a fraction of the radiation of most CT scanners. And their scanner is, you know, a lot of people, you ever go to those MRIs and you're inside that machine and everything? Oh, my goodness. That's not what they have at Life Imaging FLA. It is completely open. You don't have to, by the way, put on a hospital gown and take your clothes off. I wore my shirt, wore my jeans, wore my shoes. I didn't even have to take my watch off. I kept my watch on even. I was very, very pleasantly surprised at that, and how easy it was, how fast the whole heart and body scan was, but that it was in one of those open machines where I wasn't having to be enclosed in something, because a lot of people don't like that. Who likes that? I don't like it either. You know, early detection does save lives, and Life Imaging FLA is all about preventative health. You know, 1 in 3 people will die from heart disease. That's right. And of course, the first sign of heart disease in most people is instant death, and you don't want to be that person. Life Imaging FLA scanning protocol doesn't use any dyes. Like I said, you don't have to get undressed. It only takes about 10 minutes. And then you either find out you have something that needs to get taken care of, or like me, you'll find out that you have no blockage, no plaque, and no cancer. And that was a good thing, man. I tell you, I feel like a new person since I had that scan. Multiple studies show that looking inside of the body with CT scans can significantly reduce cancer death. That's right, because they can detect that too in many instances. So listen, when you're over there, make sure you ask about their cancer screening and virtual colonography. Call right now, Life Imaging FLA, and schedule your free heart scan with just a few minimum requirements. It's valued at $699. From your cell phone, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. That's pound 250, and just say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound on your cell phone, 250, and say free heart scan. All right, we're going to go back to the president. If you're on hold, stand by. We're coming up on the top of the hour, and he is winding down. So we'll go to the phones and get back on track after the president's done speaking. All right, back to the president.
It could have, what we're doing now, it could have happened a long time ago, but it was strangled and set back almost irretrievably by the administrations of Barack Obama and then Joe Biden. It was there was a hatred toward Israel. There was an absolute hatred. The setbacks really started when President Obama signed the Iran nuclear deal. This was a disaster for Israel, and it was a disaster for everyone. And I remember that Bibi Netanyahu came to the United States and worked so hard to try and get Obama not to do that deal. He worked so hard. But it was like talking to a wall. I remember him telling me it was like talking to a wall. They wanted to go with Iran. They chose Iran, frankly, over a lot of other good nations, but specifically Israel. And that was the beginning of a very bad period of time. You had Obama go out, and the Iran nuclear deal turned out to be a disaster. And by the way, I terminated the Iran nuclear deal, and I was very proud to do it. Yet even to Iran, whose regime has inflicted so much death on the Middle East, the hand of friendship and cooperation is open. I'm telling you, they want to make a deal. That's all I do in my life. I make deals. I'm good at it. I've always been good at it. And I know when they want. Even if they said, we don't want to make a deal, I can tell you they want to make a deal. All right, they do. They want to make a deal, and we're going to see if we can do something, because this is crazy what's happening, and we're not going to have this anymore. Neither the United States nor Israel bear the people of Iran any hostility. We merely want to live in peace. We don't want any looming threats over our heads.
All right, now we're coming up on the top of the hour break. The president's winding down, so we'll take our break for the top, and I'm assuming he'll be concluding. He's been speaking a little more than an hour, and he's made a couple references. Will there be anybody left in Egypt? So it's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the top, come back, and finish up with the president live after this. All right, I'm going to go back to it here, though, during the break.
And to Iran, and as you know, this is not said out of weakness. There's no weakness. But I'm going to say this, that we are ready when you are, and it will be the best decision that Iran has ever made.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And they're good people. I know a lot of Iranians in the United States. They're good people, smart, hardworking people. They don't want to see what's happened to their country. The story of fierce Israeli resolve and triumph since October 7th should be proof to the entire world that those who seek to destroy this nation are doomed to bitter failure. The state of Israel is strong, and it will live and thrive forever. And that is why Israel will always remain a vital ally of the United States of America. Israelis share our values, field one of the world's most powerful militaries. You really do. You have an amazing, what a job you've done. And have one of the most innovative economies on earth. Those are just a few of the reasons why I'm proud to be the best friend that Israel has ever had. And they all say it. In the White House. They all say it. I guess it's true because everybody says it, baby. You said it today. Thank you. But as president, I terminated the disastrous Iran nuclear deal, and ultimately I terminated Iran's nuclear program with things called B-2 bombers. It was swift, and it was accurate, and it was a military beauty. I authorized the spending of billions of dollars, which went to Israel's defense, as you know. And after years of broken promises from many other American presidents, you know that, they kept promising. I never understood it until I got there. There was a lot of pressure put on these presidents. It was put on me too, but I didn't yield to the pressure. But every president for decades said, we're going to do it. The difference is I kept my promise and officially recognized the capital of Israel and moved the American embassy to Jerusalem.
All right, we're coming back, and then we'll go back to the president. Welcome back, everyone. The third hour has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We're carrying the president's live address at the Knesset in Israel. He's declared the war is over, and I think he's winding down now. So we're going to go back to the president. And when he's done, we'll take your calls and talk about everything that's been happening.
I think she's saying no more. And she loves Israel, but she loves it, and they would come in, and her husband was a very aggressive man, but I loved him. He was a very aggressive, very supportive of me, and he'd call up, can I come over and see you? I say, Sheldon, I'm the president of the United States. It doesn't work that way. He'd come in, but they were very responsible for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights, which is probably one of the greatest things to ever happen to Israel. Miriam, stand up, please. She really is. I mean, she loves this country. She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say. We love you. Thank you, darling, for being here. That's a great honor. Great honor. She's a wonderful woman. She is a great woman. I've always stood for the people of this community, and I always will. I'll always be with you. I'm always going to be with you. I guess maybe something could happen to change my mind. Somebody that's really stupid gets into office and wants to do really bad things, but that's about it. We don't think we're going to have that happen. I hope we're not going to have that happen. And this man is a good man right here. These two men are good men right here. Hey, I have an idea. Mr. President, why don't you give him a pardon?
Wow. He just asked them to give Netanyahu a pardon.
Come on.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is huge. Wow. He's not kidding. He's asked one favor, give Netanyahu a pardon. Holy smokes. The left are going to freak out over this. Wow. And look, they're supporting it. This is insane. Yeah.
By the way, that was not in the speech, as you probably know. But I happen to like this gentleman right over here, and it just seems to make so much sense.
Wow.
You know, whether we like it or not, this has been one of the greatest wartime presidents. This has been one of the greatest wartime presidents. And cigars and champagne, who the hell cares about that?
Holy smokes. That's a big one.
All right, enough controversy for the day, right? Actually, I don't think it's very controversial. So, you know, I see so popular. You are a very popular man. You know why? Because you know how to win.
Wow. He might have just saved Netanyahu there. How could they turn down Trump?
Over the past 2 years, I've met many of the families of the Israelis taken hostage and those that were taken hostage. Unbelievable. I've looked into their eyes. I've seen the worst nightmares of their suffering, but I've also seen something else, the beautiful love of the people, the love of people, frankly, that hold things together, the love that gives you the courage to carry on through thousands of years of persecution and repression and to emerge with the heart of David. It's the heart of David. It's that love that's defeated the enemies of civilization, built this incredible country and this unbelievable economy, and forged one of the great democracies of the world. That is why it's a true honor to stand here today and address this assembly in your ancient and eternal now capital, Jerusalem. I'm proud to have helped in that regard. This city and this nation stand as living proof that a much brighter future for this entire region is truly within our grasp. For thousands of years, Jerusalem has been a home to Christians, Jews, Muslims, and people of all ethnicities and creeds. This is the holy center of the world's three great Abrahamic faiths. I like that too. Adorned, it's the first time I've seen that word in a while. Adorned with their sacred sites and alive with their pilgrims and visitors from every corner of the globe. But here between the Western Wall, the Temple Mount, and the hill called Calvary, people of every faith and background live, work, pray, serve, and raise their families side by side, and they do it with love. This example is just one of the modern miracles that Israel has given to the world. And just in closing, the leaders in this chamber know better than anyone else the challenges of this harmony, and it's been easily won. No, it hasn't. It has not been. It's been so tough, but it has been, some say, a miracle. What you've done is a miracle. Look at your size. Look at your chances when it all started. And you know, if you think about it, you are safer today, stronger today, and more respected today than at any time in the history of Israel. Think of it. People used to say it wouldn't exist. They don't say that anymore, do they? Yet if safety, security, and coexistence can thrive here in the winding alleys and ancient paths of Jerusalem, then surely peace and respect can flourish among the nations of the broader Middle East. The God who once dwelled among his people in this city still calls us, in the words of Scripture, the turn from evil and do good, to seek peace and pursue it. So he still whispers truth into the hills and knolls and valleys of his magnificent creation, and he still writes hope into the hearts of his children all over the world. And that is why even after 3,000 years of pain and conflict, the people of Israel have never given up from the threats of Zionism, from all sorts of threats. You want the promise of Zion. You want the promise of success and hope and love and God. And the people of America have never lost faith in the promise of a great and blessed future for all of us. From the very first day that modern Israel was founded, we have stood together through thick and thin of setbacks, and through victory and defeat, through glory and heartache. We have built industries together. We have made discoveries together. We have confronted evil together, and we have waged war together. And perhaps most beautifully of all, we have made peace together. And this week, against all odds, we have done the impossible and brought our hostages home. So now we're going to forge a future that is worthy of our heritage. We're going to build a legacy that all the people of this region can be proud of. New bonds of friendship, cooperation, and commerce will join Tel Aviv to Dubai, Haifa to Beirut, Jerusalem to Damascus, and from Israel to Egypt, from Saudi Arabia to Qatar, from India to Pakistan, from Indonesia to Iraq, from Syria to Bahrain, Turkey to Jordan, the United Arab Emirates to Oman, and Armenia to Azerbaijan, another war that I just settled. We are going to have hope, harmony, opportunity, and happiness here in the spiritual and geographic center of the entire world. That's what you are. Israel, America, and all of the nations of the Middle East will soon be safer, stronger, greater, and more prosperous than ever before. And I want to thank you all once again for this exceptional honor. This has been truly an honor. It's seldom that a president is invited to do this. And I love Israel. I'm with you all the way. You will be bigger, better, stronger, and more loving than ever before. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the Middle East. Thank you, everybody. Good luck. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, that was the president live. So let's take our break. And when we get back, I'll give you my thoughts. We'll start talking about things. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We'll be right back. All right. We're coming back. In about 90 seconds, we will be back. All right. All right, I'm standing now. I've been sitting long enough. All right. Well, thanks for sticking through me. I'll talk about when I get back. Because I don't know. I don't know if anybody... I think I made the right choice carrying the speech. I'll discuss it when we get back. And if you want to call in, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the speech. The number is pinned in the live chat. If you'd like to call in, we're going to be back in about a minute. Just over a minute, we'll be back live. The number is pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631 is our number. 888-465-2631. All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. If you'd like to call in and comment on what you heard with the president's speech, please do. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice.
Hey, Craig. Hey, Craig.
Yep, you just made it. What's on your mind?
Trump and the American people are the biggest hostages. I'll celebrate when my people are freed from Israeli control. And Charlie Kirk said if
well, hold on a second here. Hold on a second.
Join the idea.
Okay, hold on a second. You said when you're... Oh, he hung up. He hung up. You know, let me ask you. Who would be upset at the ending of a war? Right? When a war is over, the killing has stopped. Who would be upset at the ending of a war? It's too bad he hung up on his own. because I had a couple of questions for him, and I wanted to hear what he had to say. A couple things here before I talk about the speech. The president was supposed to speak at 4 a.m. Eastern time, and Israel's 7 hours ahead of us, so that would have been 11 a.m. Israeli time. And what I planned on doing, I mentioned this at the very beginning of the show. I just want to go over it again because I do not have a memory of carrying any speech live on the show before. If we have, I've forgotten it, but it's certainly not what we would normally do. But I woke up, I set my alarm for 12:30 a.m. because I knew the president was speaking. So I wanted to get up and get all my show prep done because you never know what's going to happen. And we'll go through all the news. A lot of things have been happening so that I could be done in time to catch the president's speech at 4 a.m. Eastern time and watch it in its entirety. And he came on like 2 hours late. And that's why he was talking about... is anyone going to be in Egypt when I get there, or will they all have left, right? And usually we don't have to make any decisions about carrying, unless there's like a breaking news story. I mean, there have been some breaking news stories that we care. 9/11, we interrupted for 9/11. When that Bernie Sanders supporter, that campaign worker for Bernie Sanders, the Democrat, shot Steve Scalise, we carried that live. We've carried breaking news, but I'm talking about a speech. I don't have any memory of ever having carried a speech. But when I saw what was, this is an important speech, and I know how MAGA people are. I can't say that I've seen every single Trump speech, but I know I've seen over 90% of them. Maybe over 95% of them. And I'm talking about since he came down the escalator. And I think most MAGA people are that way, right? You've seen most every single Trump speech. And I didn't have any intention on really, when I woke up this morning, I had no plans on carrying the Trump speech because I thought it would be over. And then when I saw that he was running late, I thought, well, he'll come on maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock, and we'll carry it. And then, it'll lead into maybe some of the first hour, and then we'll have the rest of the show to talk. And then when I saw what was happening, I realized, that we're going to have to, it was going to run, that he wasn't going to start speaking until the show started, which is how it went down. And I didn't get the okay from anybody to do it. I just did it. I can't say I made an executive decision because I'm not an executive, but I figured that, I wanted to hear the speech because that's the big news story of the day. So I made the decision to preempt myself, which is really a difficult thing to do because, I'm thinking, what should I do? Should I carry? And then I thought to myself, you guys are going to want to hear the speech. I want to hear the speech. And if I don't carry it, you're just going to find some place that's carrying the speech. So I said to myself, I'm going to carry it. So that's what we did. And it's not something we run into often because we're on the air in the morning and President Trump isn't in the business of giving historic speeches at 6 o'clock in the morning like he did today. So that's why I carried the speech today. And I'm glad I did. There was a lot said towards the end. Israel does have a president. They're weak, but they do have some authority. And I looked this up after he said it because I don't follow the inner work. I didn't take Israeli civics, but the president of Israel does have pardon powers. And the biggest takeaway from that speech, I think, was President Trump asking the president of Israel to pardon Netanyahu for all these trumped-up charges they got against him that they're harassing him with. And when you consider what President Trump has done for Israel in both of his terms, how could they say no to that? But I think that was the biggest takeaway. And the media and the liberals are probably going to be having fits over that. All right, so let's take some calls. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. And you're welcome to comment on the speech or whether or not I should have carried it or not. Although I think it was most definitely the right. I know I don't think I'm in any trouble for carrying it because I didn't get any frantic calls on my cell phone or text or emails or anything during it. So I don't think I'm in trouble for carrying it, but you guys let me know what you think about that too. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, good morning, Brian. I'm Chris from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Chris, what's up?
That's an outstanding milestone. I don't think that people realize they just heard or listened and witnessed. And, it's a shame that any kind of negativity will come from that. And, I mean, wars have existed for I don't know, thousands of years, decades. We have our own interests here.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of people will compare things like, let's say, Indians massacring early settlers here, or us massacring Indians. There's been fights for over lands and all kinds of things forever. And there's been really nothing like this ongoing thing over in the Middle East. And it's continuously taught. I mean, these people aren't dying off. They're continuously taught in the name of religion, in the name of radical groups, and even some family traditions, this type of hatred.
Well,
so when you bring up things like October 7th,
but what President Trump has done is amazing. It was reported over the weekend that Indonesia may sign the Abraham Accord. And for those that don't know, the Abraham Accords, these Muslim countries, these Arab countries that signed, they did not recognize Israel as a country. And the Abraham Accords affirms that they're recognizing Israel as a nation. Indonesia, which is where Obama grew up, by the way, Indonesia has the largest Muslim population in the world, and they're about to sign off on it. And while there's still going to be problems in the Middle East because it's too much in the DNA and in the bones of so many terrible. I mean, look at these idiots I've been hearing from during this morning, like that guy before you. But President Trump has done more to bring peace to the Middle East than any of our other presidents ever have combined.
Absolutely, and that reminds me of this whole Nobel Peace thing. I mean, they give Obama one just for winning an election 2 weeks after he was sworn in?
Let's face it, they gave him the Nobel Peace Prize because he was the first black president of the United States. That's why he got it. They didn't say that, but that's why they gave it to him.
And that's another thing. I guess he does qualify as the first black, even though his mother was white. I love throwing that out there. But you're right. He did nothing. And in fact, you could say his whole 8 years he did nothing to deserve that Nobel Peace
I don't know.
Prize.
It looks like he brought a bunch of Muslims to this country. They took over Michigan. They took over Minnesota. And they're about to take over the city of New York.
And he excused every little terrorist act that was done here, like over at Fort Hood. Come on. They cautioned us not to be.
Well, and he also legalized gay marriage, which led to all of this transgendered stuff. He also, I wouldn't say he did nothing. He just didn't do anything good. He was behind all the lawfare and the fake Russian dossier against President Trump. He has caused a 10-year political divide in this country that is a pretty rough one. Obama's the most divisive president this country's had since Lincoln, because the Civil War happened when he was elected, right?
Oh, don't get me started on that about my military. I mean, when he took away Don't Ask, Don't Tell, that was a joke, and he knew it right away. But he felt the pressure. Because,
That's right.
For those people, it's ridiculous.
That's right. All right, listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. No, I had to. I went to feed the cats. I'll take the calls when we get back. That was an amazing speech. I do think the biggest takeaway, though, was the asking the president of Israel to pardon Netanyahu. What do you think? That was probably the biggest thing. Okay, we'll be back in just over a minute. Less than a minute, we'll be back. You guys agree about the number one takeaway was the pardon of Netanyahu? Yeah. Yeah, they owe it to him. I mean, he ended this war. He's done so much. President Trump has done so much for Israel with Netanyahu. I think they owe it to Trump to pardon him. What is Trump asked of Israel other than to pardon Netanyahu? Right? Do you guys think they should do it? Should Netanyahu be pardoned? Trump asked. I say yes. Trump should get whatever he wants. All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to throw this out to you guys. I want to hear your thoughts on this. President Trump, and that's the biggest takeaway out of that speech was President Trump asking the president of Israel to pardon Netanyahu. I think that Israel owes it to Trump. What is everything that President Trump has done for Israel? Has he asked for anything? He's asked for something for the first time. One, do you think that Netanyahu should be pardoned since the president asked? And do you think they'll do it? I think that if the president of Israel does not pardon Netanyahu now that the president has asked, that's a big insult to this country. I mean, I would, all the support we give to Israel, all the support President Trump has given to Israel, the president has asked them one thing. They should do it, and they should do it immediately. What do you guys think? And will they do it? 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yes?
Good morning. This is Mona.
Yes, Mona.
I was listening, and I was wondering why exactly does President Netanyahu need a pardon? What has he done?
Well, I pulled up the list because it's been a while since I talked about it. Okay, but it's mostly corruption. He's got a few corruption cases. One that he and his wife took some gifts, expensive gifts. He tried to make a deal with it. Another allegation is that he tried to make a deal with a publisher of a newspaper for some favorable coverage. Another one, these are all allegations, granted regulatory benefits to a telecom company in exchange for favorable coverage of him, while he was running. It's some minor financial allegations.
Oh, that seems like such small, petty stuff.
Doesn't it? Small potatoes. Let me ask you, though, do you think Israel will do it? I mean, everything President Trump has gone to the mat for them and saved them and has done so much in both terms. Do you think they'll disrespect President Trump and not pardon Netanyahu, or will they do the one thing he's asked of them?
I believe that they will do it.
They better. I got to tell you, I'm a strong supporter of Israel, right? Strong supporter. And not that they care about how I feel, but I would take it as a personal insult if they don't pardon Netanyahu. President Trump has even lost. There are MAGA people that are very upset with him over his support of Israel, whether everything he's done, Iran, this, right, moving the embassy. And he's always stood with them. And he's asking this one little thing on some financial allegations, campaign finance stuff, and things like that. He's not asking for much. And I'd be very upset. And I think a lot of MAGA people would. All right, Mona, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, how you doing? Good morning.
Yep. What's up?
IB.
Hey, IB. What's up?
You remember back when when Trump was first starting to get the investments to come in, and he had a meeting. I mean, a briefing, a press briefing with the little Asian guy, and then he said
the little Asian guy. No, the little Asian guy.
I know you would find that humorous. You're funny.
Well, no, I mean it's just a little strange thing. The little Asian guy.
They have tall guys too in Asia. You know what I mean? But look, here's the
strange.
What I'm saying is that when he asked the guy for more money at the end of the press conference, at the end of the money, he tried to. Okay, that's what he did. That was the icing on the.
And that guy, I think that was the first business deal press conference where the guy was investing hundreds of billions of dollars. And I think that he came up with more. He came back and gave Trump more money on another trip.
Yep, he did. Right. So you just guys saw the art of the deal. For the closing of the deal, you see, you said Barack got the award for future expectation, but Trump should have received it for also when he put the Abraham Accord together in the first place. But then Hamas came in and ruined everything.
Here's the question, IB. I mean, I do you think that the president of Israel will pardon Netanyahu? Trump has gone to the mat for Israel. And he's not asked anything. And this isn't even for himself. He's asking for a favor for his friend. Do you think they'll do it, or will they, or not?
Everything they put Netanyahu through and try to impeach him like they did our president, he's going to have to do it because of the Abraham Accord being signed, the wars being over, everything that he's done. He's in a position where he cannot refuse not to do that. That'll kind of show a Democrat.
Let me tell you, I don't know how partisan I don't know anything about the president of Israel. Okay, I don't know anything about them.
But they do have.
I mean, I've heard of them. I've heard of them and everything. I mean, I don't know their whole life history of politics and everything else. But
there's so many parties and there's a lot of fighting going on, so we don't really know where he.
Well,
stands.
let me tell you, there's been a divide inside the MAGA movement over support of Israel, and President Trump has stood by them. If they don't do this, I would take it as a FU to the president. I would be really ticked off. Would you?
That's why I just said we don't talk about that president, so we don't really know where he stands because there's so many parties. And I want to talk about that guy who talked about the only thing he didn't like about Trump is that they didn't get the food in Africa. Well, if Trump sends the food, and because of war, they have chains on the gate, and people cannot bum rush the building, just take it because then you need codes. That's political. That's a political, just like Hamas taking the food being dropped.
Exactly.
If Hamas gets to the food first, they're going to take it. And then if people are trying to, take the food, they're going to come with their guns and seize it. So it's political. It's not Trump. Trump can't control, once the food goes over to another territory, how that war and how the political situation, climate is going to, dictate how that food is going to be distributed. Yep. Just like they did in North Carolina when they impeded helicopters from trying to rescue people and stop the food from going in. See, we were in a war, like a silent war, but didn't know it. That's why they were doing everything negative to us Republicans, like they did with the train derailment in Philistine and so forth.
Yep.
Okay, I can go on and
All
on.
right, IB, I'm gonna move on, but I appreciate the call and you make some good points today. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Steve from Staten Island.
Hey, Steve, what's up?
I'm just saying how Trump was fantastic. His speech was wonderful. I enjoyed every bit of it.
Yeah.
And this is why he won by a landslide when we voted him back into that White House. I should tell you that.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
But what irritates me is the fact that he's done such a spectacular job. You hate to think is that the people on the other side are going to still condemn him or do this other thing. Oh, he's not this great. You had a guy, Biden, this old fool, who couldn't do it. It took 4 years, he still couldn't do it. This man, Trump, fantastic. How long is he in office and got this stuff done?
Yeah.
Proves the fact.
Yeah. Well, there were two things out of the speech. There was there were a couple things said. Netanyahu spoke and the head of the Knesset spoke, and I can't remember which one of them said this, but one of them, I think it was the head of the Knesset. He said in 2,000 years, Jews will know the name Donald Trump because of everything he's done with the Abraham Accords and this. I wonder, do you think it's that historic that he'll go down in Jewish history?
Historic. Oh, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a plaque stating that in Jerusalem.
Now, what do you think, though? As I was saying, the biggest takeaway, I think, from the entire speech was Trump asking the Israeli president to pardon Netanyahu on these ridiculous things. Do you think they'll do it? Pardon Netanyahu because the president asked?
I think so. Because how much they love the Trump, and if he's asked, "Can I do this?" they say, "Well, he did this for us. Why not do that for him?"
I mean, President Trump has bent over backwards to help Israel, so in both terms, and this is such a these are ridiculous white collar accusations. I mean, they're not. Come on, these are minor things, and who knows? It could all, we see what they've done to Trump. It could all be lawfare BS too, or at least a lot of it, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right.
Just thanks for the call. Thanks for much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the call. If you're on hold, hang in there, everyone. Yeah, I mean, and how would you feel if they did? They should have that done today. I don't know what their pardon process is, but it can't be that difficult. It should be done today. I want to talk about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. First of all, Dr. Appleton offers free, no-charge consultations, okay? And you can take advantage of that even when you walk in without an appointment. But someone I know, they had back surgery not that long ago. And they're out of town, and I did everything I could do to get them down here. And oh no, my orthopedist, he's going to take care. They're in more. They've supposedly recovered from the surgery. They're in more pain now than before the surgery. Now, I'm not a doctor, and I don't give medical advice, but I know this. I do not know a single person in my entire life who had surgery on their back, on their knee, on their shoulder, or for anything that involved pain, that their pain was gone after the surgery. That's just my experience. I've known a lot of guys that have got, my knee, my back, this, that, and it's the same story. Well, I'm still in pain, or sometimes it's worse, like the one person I know with the back pain. But they tell me, but my next surgery is scheduled for such and such a day. If you have a surgery schedule that involves pain, go see Dr. Appleton first. What do you got to lose other than your pain? And I don't think I'm alone in that. Do any of you know people who have gotten surgery for pain that, I'm pain-free now? I don't know a single person in my personal life. Now, again, that's anecdotal. I get it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. But I have known people that have had surgery on pretty much every joint of their body for pain, hips, everything. They're always in pain after, the people I know at least. Go see Dr. Appleton before you have that surgery. The consultation is free. Sit down with him. He'll explain to you about the robotic laser, how it works, and how it can help you. And then decide if you need to have that surgery, all right? I mean, when I went in for my shoulder pain, the first time I went in for shoulder pain, I had that bad fall off the skateboard. I was in so much pain. I was almost in tears. I was on the air that day, and I talked about it. I said, I'm going to go right from the radio studio to Dr. Appleton's office. And I described the pain. I remember I said, in the front of my shoulder, it feels like somebody stuck a steak knife in me, and they're cutting my muscle. And then on the side, it feels like Mike Tyson is punching me. And I went to see Dr. Appleton, and he heard me talking on the air, and I said, Doc, I'm going to need all your abilities today, but this is the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life. I think I'm going to have to end up going to the orthopedics and get the surgery. He examined me, He determined exactly where on my shoulder the pain was coming from. He treated me with the robotic laser. I was feeling better before I left the office. I told him, I said, Doc, I can't believe it. I'm feeling better than before I left the office. I mean, when I got to the office, I'm feeling better already. I couldn't believe it. You know, I said, I'm feeling better already. I told him, I said, you know, if I'd have gone to the orthopedist today instead of you, they would have had the surgery scheduled before I left the office. It works. Give him a call. Dr. Appleton. Remember, appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are always welcome. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. Hey there, hold on. Mm-hmm. Hey, check the text I just sent you. Okay. All right, we'll be back shortly. Yeah, if you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with our first look at gold, silver, and the other metals for the week. William Youngerman, how's gold starting off?
Starting off very, very strong, Brian. Gaining between Friday and today, we're up over $100 on gold. Friday, we saw gold trade up to $4,023 before closing out the day, up $40.90 at $4,016.40 the ounce. Silver gained 95 cents on Friday, closing at $49.89. Platinum was down $30 at $15.92, and palladium closed down $12 on Friday at $13.85. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a low of $4,000, kind of testing that $4,000 number, and then bouncing off in that and making new highs all the way up to $4,086 this morning. And now we're at $4,080 per ounce for gold. That's up $63.60.
Wow.
Silver up $1.61 right now at $51.50 the ounce. Platinum up $50 at $16.42, and palladium up $51 at $1,436 the ounce. So the markets are moving, and people are starting to jump on board on the to the point where the supply side of the metals is getting very tight. A lot of things by many dealers are totally out of stock, and to tell you the truth, stocks are beginning to dwindle, although we still have everything in stock for immediate delivery. It won't be long before all the Eagle products will be sold out by just about everybody, because the mint will be stopping production now, gearing up for next year's production, and that will bring a big shortage of silver Eagles in the marketplace and gold Eagles. So the premiums have already gone up on those products as we speak. So
wow.
We have many other products with lesser premiums that just if you're an Eagle buyer, you will be paying more for the Eagle product.
Let me ask you, William, does that include not just the 1 ounce gold Eagles, but what about the fractional gold Eagles? Same thing?
Yeah, same thing.
Okay. Can we just talk, these prices are out of this world great. Can we just talk a little bit about fractional gold today? Because as gold's over $4,000 an ounce, someone that says, well, I don't have $4,000. Well, that's okay, because with fractional gold, there's gold at all kinds of different price points. Can you talk a little bit about fractional gold and what you think is the best that people should be looking at to pick up?
Yeah, we have fractional gold from, in the coinage, we have them from 1/10 ounce sizes, 1/10, quarter, half ounce sizes, which makes it more affordable than starting off at a $4,000 price. And then you can also get some of the smaller gram bars or fractional 1 ounce bars down to as little as 1 gram of gold. So that's 1/32 of an ounce.
Yeah,
there's something affordable in gold for everybody.
And in the fractional coins, the fractional gold coins comes from all the major mints. Like we were talking about the American Gold Eagle, but other mints also have the fractional gold coins, sovereign mints.
Yes, beautiful. The Royal Canadian Mint makes beautiful 1/10 ounce gold maple leafs, which we have in stock. Of course, China has fractionals, and Australia, Perth Mint has fractionals of the kangaroo. So we have many products that you can choose from.
And with prices so high, fractional might be the way to go for a lot of people. Not just because the lower price point when you're talking about how high an ounce is, but when you need money, you don't have to unload a whole ounce of gold, right? If you need money for something.
That's right. That's correct.
Yeah. So there's so many benefits to fractional gold. But listen, if you have any questions, William Youngerman and his expert team over there will gladly help you out. He opens up at 10 a.m. And remember, no matter where you're located in the United States, you can do your transactions over the phone and through the mail. And I want to highlight two things. You heard William Youngerman. A lot of gold dealers, metals dealers around the country and are running out of gold. Not William Youngerman. He's got all the metals in stock for immediate delivery. And also, William Youngerman will buy back anything that he sells you, okay? His number is 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And find both his address and phone number on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. That's WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day. Thank
you too. Take care. All right. Just to follow up on this, I want to tell you, I tell you guys, and I've said this for 10 years, I'll never disagree with President Trump. I'll never criticize President Trump. And a lot of people tell, oh, you can't do that, Brian. You'll have no credibility. I think President Trump has earned that. And everything. And by the way, it's not that he's done things that I disagree with, okay, and I'm holding back. I don't disagree with anything the man's done. He is the greatest president of our lifetime. And you look at what he's done, how many people not just are alive today because of President Trump, but over the course of time, how many people will live because of Donald Trump? And this is what I mean by that. And I think it's so many you couldn't put a number on it. But he ended these 8 wars, this being the latest. Now we still got Russia and Ukraine. They're the odd man out. But he ended 8 others. How many lives have been saved just by that? And how many lives will be born because of that? And then, of course, in his first term, he overturned Roe v. Wade. So how many babies have already been born that would not have been born if President Trump had not overturned Roe v. Wade? And all of these people are going to have kids, and their kids are going to have kids. Throughout the one person that was introducing President Trump said today that he'll be remembered 2,000 years from now in Jewish history for everything that he's done. And I hope that's true. But 2,000 years out, there literally could be billions of people that have life because of President Trump. President Trump, think about that. Every baby that's not aborted because he overturned Roe v. Wade, that's a life saved. Billions of people will live because of President Trump over the next 2,000 years. What other president can say that? And you look at at these other presidents that we've had, we have never had a president that was anywhere near President Trump so far as his accomplishments go. And he's completely selfless. You know, you look at, you know, he asked Israel one thing, pardon Netanyahu. I hope that happens today. I really do. And look at everything he's done for us. You know, the Democrats have shut down this government. And they've shut it down for one reason only. It's more than just Trump derangement syndrome. Remember what the late, great Rush Limbaugh used to say. All Democrats care about is power. They have no power. They've been rejected by the American people. And the only power they have now is to shut down the government. So they're so desperate, the Democrats, to have power, they're doing it. I know it's a little more complex than that, but that's how petty and pathetic they are. And look at President Trump. The tariffs that the Democrats and the liberals that you're all against, he used the tariffs to pay for the WIC, for the baby formula, for the low-income mothers. And he said they also found the money to pay the military personnel, and he gave the order to Pete Hegseth to pay the military. So they're all getting paid. The low-income mothers are getting their diapers and baby formula, and our service personnel are getting paid, in spite of the Democrats. And a lot of these things are being paid for because of the tariffs that you on the left and the Never-Trumpers were so against. When have we had a president who's done so much for the American people without any personal gain whatsoever? All the other presidents, they concern themselves with two things. They say legacy, and that's one thing they concern themselves with in their second term. But their main, you know what the main objective of other presidents is in their second term? It's not legacy. You know what it is? To set themselves up to be rich as rich can get. That's all they do is make deals so that they're rich when they get out of office. All of them. Look at the Clintons. Look at the Obamas. President Trump is the only president we've had that didn't go into it to enrich himself at all. He doesn't even take his salary. Now, I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And, you know, this shirt I'm wearing is a shirt I've had for a little while. I love this shirt. It's one of my favorite shirts. It's Star Wars. It's a Hawaiian Star Wars shirt. And it's one of those shirts when it fits tight to the body. And since I've lost all this weight, thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret, it fits my body much better than it used to. This is how it's supposed to fit. Before Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I had a belly, and the shirt was sticking out here. I could look down, I could see a belly. Now it's flat. I could see straight down now. My vision, I had obstructed view looking down. I didn't realize it, but I did. I had obstructed view looking down, you know? And now it's unobstructed view now when I look down because I don't have my stomach anymore. I completely flat stomach. I'm at the weight I was when my wife and I married 29 years ago. It's amazing. And what really blows my mind is how easy it was with Coastal Weight Loss Secret to lose all this weight. I didn't have to exercise. I didn't take any pills, no injections, no exercise. I didn't have to starve myself, and I ate foods I would normally eat. You know, when I first went there, I didn't know anything about Coastal Weight Loss Secret other than they were going to help me lose weight. And I was expecting to walk out with like a box of food that didn't taste good, little tiny bits of food. None of that. And so not only was it so easy and I lost over 35 pounds, but because I didn't have any big lifestyle changes to lose the weight, now that I'm in the maintain phase, it's easy. Haven't gained back a single ounce. Give them a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlasssecret.com. All right, let's see what time it is. Let's see here. What the heck? I'll try to squeeze in a call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going? This is Ben from Reno calling again.
Hey, Ben, what's up?
Yeah. You know, I was just listening to you talk about how Leader Trump doesn't ask for anything for what he does. But you know, I wanted to like ask about this because I remember in 2017 he accused, and it was known at the time, that Qatar was a funder of international terrorism. And now he's taking a plane from them and then giving them.
President Trump didn't take a plane from them. He didn't take a plane.
it's going to him.
No, it's not going to him. No, it's not going. Excuse me. No, excuse me. I've only got 30 seconds left. I've only got 30 seconds left. No. They gave. Nope. They gave.
To his library.
Excuse me.
It's going to his library.
I'm going to answer with or without you. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to put you on hold. I've got 25 seconds left. I'm not going to end with that lie. One. It was a gift to the United States Air Force. The Air Force is working on it. We haven't seen it. Two, that site for the library in Miami is not big enough for an airplane. The museum site. So that's that. All right, listen, guys. That's all the time we have for today. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. Look, Trump's winning. And look, the never-Trumper's always miserable. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. God bless Donald Trump. See you tomorrow morning. All right, we are clear. Okay, this is one of the things, okay? I mentioned this with that guy. That area where the library is, it's not big enough for an airplane. The one in Miami, it's not. Okay, it's one of the reasons I was very surprised that they have it. Certainly not one this big. Maybe the Wright brothers plane could fit in there, but Trump Force One wouldn't even fit in there. And the airplane was a gift to the Air Force, not to the president. I will have a podcast this afternoon. I told you guys this morning when I started the show, I woke up at 12:30 this morning. So I'm going to sign off for now, but I will be back this afternoon with a new podcast episode. If you're new to the program, make sure that you subscribe. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Talk to you soon. Take care.